A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
That melody? Of course you do. How many countless happy dancing evenings have come to a close with Good Night, Sweetheart? But for $64,000, do you know who wrote it? And what, you might well ask, has all this to do with suspense? Well, it's a tuneful way to introduce the star of the upcoming story, Ray Noble. That's right, Ray Noble, who wrote Good Night, Sweetheart. For years, along with everybody else, we have thought Ray Noble was a very funny fellow as he bandied his egg-headed wit against the wooden-headed quips of Charlie McCarthy and Mortimer Snerd on the Edgar Bergen show. So when Mr. Noble came back from London for a short holiday in Hollywood, we wrote a play for him and persuaded him to essay his first dramatic role. Listen then as Ray Noble stars in The Star of Thessely, which begins in exactly 1 minute.
Let me ask you a question. Who is Uncle Sam's lawyer? Well, if your answer is the Attorney General, you're absolutely right. But being legal advisor to the President and other government agencies is only part of his job. His main task is running the Department of Justice, which makes sure that the laws passed by Congress are carried out, and the lawyers are furnished when the government must be represented in court. Now, suppose there's a question about the amount or kind of tax you should pay. Or suppose you and the government didn't agree about which one of you owned certain land. The Department of Justice would represent the government side of the case. If anyone is brought to trial for counterfeiting, smuggling, gold hoarding, or passport forging, the Department of Justice prosecutes the case. All matters dealing with legal immigration are handled by the Justice Department. And all of this is the responsibility of a very busy guy, a member of the President's Cabinet, the Attorney General.
And now, Mr. Ray Noble starring in The Star of Thessely, a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
The adventure began under the classic circumstances dear to the hearts of the writers of British short stories, and presumably their readers. That is to say, it was a foggy November night in London, and a group of us were gathered before the crackling fire in St. Bottle's Club in the West End. There were, as I remember, Sir Eustace Twining, Christopher Wrexham, Colonel Thorndyke, just home from India, and one other. Now, who could that have been? Oh, yes, it was I. Captain Anthony Chumley Smythe, OBE, DSC, recently retired and presently unemployed.
Dreary weather. Beastly. Monstrous. Absolutely monstrous.
Oh, it's not quite that bad, Sir Eustace.
The vulgarity of it. The sheer downright vulgarity.
Who?
This bounder here in the Times.
What bounder?
This bounder. Just listen to this personal notice on the front page. For hire. Retired Captain Queen's Hussars, Oxonian, superior intelligence, superb family connections, will go anywhere and do anything for a price. Reply box 322, etc. Gentlemen, what is England coming to?
Sounds like a rather enterprising chap.
Enterprising? He's a traitor to his class, sir. Offering his services like an ordinary domestic.
Oh, it pays to advertise, Sir Eustace.
Really, Chumley, is there nothing sacred? To parade one's college, one's family, to flaunt one's military service?
Here.
Oh, I don't know. As a matter of fact, I'd like to have a talk with this chap.
Oh, really?
Yes. My company has a most delicate situation on its hands. The kind of thing we can't entrust to the ordinary detective type. It requires tact, diplomacy, and all that.
Do go on, old boy.
Well, it involves the Star of Thessely.
And what might that be?
Oh, a diamond which our company has insured for £250,000.
I say.
Well, it's worth much more, of course, though you'd never know it. It looks like a big pebble that one might find on the beach at Brighton. It's uncut, you know.
Oh, why?
Well, the owner, Socrates Melas, is not only one of the wealthiest men in Greece, but he's also one of the most eccentric. He carries the star of Thessely on his person as a pocket piece. Of course, we run no great risk on the diamond so long as Mr. Melas remains in bed.
In bed?
Oh, yes, he's an invalid. And his villa in Athens is quite competently protected by the local police. However, it has become necessary for him to travel to Paris for an operation, and the old boy insists on carrying the diamond with him. Now, I need somebody just like your advertising friends, are you a
No friend of mine, sir.
Somebody suave enough to try to dissuade Mr. Melas from taking the diamond with him on the trip, and failing that, someone resourceful enough to go along on the trip and see that it isn't stolen.
That's quite an assignment.
Yes, but remunerative. What box number did that chap mention in the Times, do you see?
Oh, box 322. But no need to contact him there, Wrexham. As they say in the American cinema, you've just got yourself a boy.
What? Are you saying, sir, that you inserted this notice?
Quite right, Sir Eustace.
Shame.
Yes, sir.
It's worse than going into trade.
Oh, but much more profitable. And infinitely more exciting, what? 36 hours later, I presented myself at Socrates Melas' villa on Mount Lycabettus overlooking Athens. A mustachioed guard in a white pleated ballet skirt showed me into the old man's room. It was like a museum with a bed. Around the walls were ancient figurines of marble and terracotta and whatnot, and in the bed was a mummy, dried and wrinkled and yellow. Since it moved and spoke, I assumed it must be Socrates Melas himself, and so it was.
I know why you have come here, and I wish you would go away.
I will, sir, as soon as you've agreed to place the Star of Thessely in a safe deposit box.
The star is my talisman. I am never without it.
Look, Mr. Melas, it's not only unwise, it's actually dangerous to go traveling around Europe with 250,000 quid in your pocket.
Oh, nonsense. Nonsense, I say. The star is only a piece of crystallized carbon. Look at it. It's just a little rock.
Yes, sir, but a highly publicized little rock. You must leave it behind.
Never! I like the feel of it. I like to know that it's in my pocket. I am never without it.
Very well, then. I'm afraid you'll never be without me until I can deliver you safely in Paris.
Defense first idiocy. I have a nurse to take care of this.
Nursing schools don't teach the kind of care I'm speaking of.
So, I can't rid myself of you, eh?
No, sir, not unless you put the Star of Thessely in a safe place while you're away.
Very well. We leave tonight at 10 o'clock. What is your name?
Captain Anthony Tumley Smart.
Did you ring, sir? Did I ring? Yes. This is Captain Smythe. He's traveling to Paris with us. His name is Hippolyte.
Oh, how do you do?
Delightfully.
Huh?
Make reservations for him on the same car as ours. Yes, sir. All right, Captain Smythe. I don't think we have anything further to discuss.
No, sir, I suppose not.
Show Captain Smythe out, Hippolyte. Yes, sir. This way, please.
I'll see you on the train, Mr. Melas.
I hope not.
Huh. Your employer seems to be a man of pretty strong likes and dislikes.
He's more than that, Captain. He's selfish, ungrateful, and downright mean. I've given him the best years of my life, and I don't even have his thanks to show for it.
Crying shame, isn't it?
I tell you, Captain Smythe, it is the end.
Well, I'm awfully... Hey, wait a minute. Out there in the garden. I see, what an exquisite creature.
Oh, her. That's Kula.
Is she his nurse?
Good heavens, no. Kula's his granddaughter. I am his nurse.
In a moment, we continue with the second act of Suspense. Have you made any extra money lately? Maybe you completed the sentence, I use Sudsy Wudsy soap because, in 25 words or less. Or you hit the jackpot on a 3-horse parlay. Or maybe Lady Aunt Bessie stepped in front of a fast freight and left you $3,500. Well, it doesn't matter how much you earn or how much additional income you're lucky enough to latch onto. If it exceeds the minimum allowed by law, there's a little matter of income tax to consider. In our country, income tax is put on an impartial basis. It doesn't matter if you're a ribbon clerk or a steel tycoon. If your state has one representative in Congress or 10. If there are 100 people in your town or 100,000. According to the 16th Amendment to the Constitution, the Congress shall have power to lay and collect taxes on incomes from whatever source derived without apportionment among the several states and without regard to any census or enumeration. That's how your American Constitution works.
And now, starring Ray Noble, Act 2 of The Star of Thessely. Later that afternoon, with time on my hands, I wandered up to the Acropolis to pay my respects to the ruins of ancient Athens. And there, as the setting sun streamed through the columns of the Parthenon, I discovered I wasn't alone on the hilltop. Leaning against one of the pillars was a beautiful dark-haired girl whom I was sure I knew. If I didn't, I certainly wanted to. I beg your pardon, but haven't we...
Excuse me?
I have a feeling we've met somewhere before.
I think not, sir.
Oh, so then may I correct that lamentable situation? I'm Captain Anthony Tumley Smythe.
I'm glad to meet you, sir. I'm Kula...
Mela?
Yes. How did you know?
That's where I saw you. You see, this afternoon I visited your grandfather and I saw you in the garden as I was leaving.
Oh.
Yes, I wanted so to meet you, but your grandfather's nurse ushered me right out of the house.
Oh, that Hippolyte, that nasty little man.
Absolutely, to say the least. And what, may I ask, brings you up to the Acropolis all alone?
Oh, I come here often at the end of the day. It is so beautiful.
It certainly is. Oh, wait a minute.
What is it?
I thought I saw a man's head peering down to us from up there on the roof of the Parthenon.
Oh, you must be mistaken.
No.
The twilight, it was probably a bird or your imagination.
Perhaps so. It is getting dark. But what say we go back down the hill and have a cocktail?
I'm afraid I can't. I must go home and finish my packing.
Oh, packing.
Yes, I'm leaving for Paris tonight.
With your grandfather?
Yes.
Oh, wizard. Utterly smashing.
I beg your pardon.
Well, I'm going to be on the same train, in the same car, in fact.
How nice.
So if I may, I'd like to see you...
Just in the hot! Oh, what was that?
A large marble fragment of ancient Greece. I hadn't taken your arm just then. It would have splattered me all over the Acropolis.
But who could have done it?
Your bird. Or that man I imagined I saw up there on the roof. Come on, let's get out of here. Unlike Lord Byron, I have no desire to be buried in the Isles of Greece. At 9:45 that night, a curious procession entered the train shed of the Athens railway station. It was headed by Socrates Melas in a wheelchair, pushed by a perspiring Hippolyte. After them, the lovely Kula, and bringing up the rear, yours truly, carrying his own bag. The old man ignored me. The male nurse virtually snubbed me, but this didn't concern me too much as soon as I caught up with Kula. Good evening.
Oh, Captain, I thought perhaps you had changed your mind.
Oh, about taking this train? Dear God, if once I learned you were to be a fellow passenger, Hercules himself would... She yanked me to one side as a huge porter pushing a heavy cart of luggage grazed by me and shoved on through the crowd without a by your leave. Following him was a short, hatless, bull-necked man, evidently the owner of the cart full of luggage.
Oh, what a careless fellow.
If you hadn't pulled me aside, you'd have broken my legs with that truck.
It would have been a regrettable accident.
I don't think it would have been an accident. Ah, here we are, the Paris car.
You know, it's curious.
What?
Do you see that man keeping the porter?
Oh, my hit-and-run porter, yes.
I think I have seen him someplace before, just today.
Seeing that one twice in one day is once too many.
Now I remember. He was up on the Acropolis earlier this afternoon before you arrived.
Oh, he was. And I dare say he was still there after we left.
What do you mean?
I'll tell you when I'm certain. There was a pattern here, and it was beginning to emerge. The bull-necked man with the hit-and-run porter had also been on the Acropolis shortly before that chunk of Greece's glory had scored a near miss on my skull. And now he was traveling in the same car with me. It was all very well to be Socrates Melas' bodyguard, but at that moment I would have liked very much to have a bodyguard for myself. Things looked better in the morning as our through car joined the Orient Express at Salamanca. The bullneck man hadn't emerged from his compartment, and what disturbed me more, neither his cooler. So I breakfasted alone. And then as the train sped west towards Italy and the Alps, I went forward to pay my respects to the boss.
Yes? Oh, Captain Smythe.
How's Mr. Mayles today?
Quite well.
Who is that? Polite.
Captain Smythe.
Send him away.
Oh, come now, old chap. I'm not here by choice, you know. How are you feeling?
Very well. Why shouldn't I be?
Everything all right?
Certainly. The star of Thessely is right here in my pajama pocket. Is that what you mean?
Good. That's what I mean. The next day and a half were dull. Oh, very dull. Cooler remained in her compartment pleading a migraine. The bullet-headed bullneck man stayed in his, for reasons best known to himself, so I stayed in mine, except for meals and the periodic and unwelcome checkups I made every few hours on the whereabouts of the star of Thessely. Then on the afternoon of the second day, while the train was snaking upwards through the Italian Alps, I was idly leafing through some magazines I picked up in the Milan station when the train attendant came in.
Scusa, signore.
What do you want?
Well, we come subito to Simplon Tunnel. I'm going to turn on the lights.
Oh, the Simplon Tunnel.
Yes, signore. The longest tunnel in the world. 12 miles all up a hill. She starts in Italia and she comes out in Switzerland.
My. Well, thanks for the travelogue.
Hey, signore.
Nothing, just thanks.
Oh, prego, signore.
A moment later, the Orient Express was followed up by the Simplon Tunnel. A moment after that, the door of my compartment slid open again. And there stood my bullet-headed bullneck neighbor pointing a very efficient German Luger at me.
Now, Captain Smythe, you will get down to business.
Who are you?
It's of no importance.
And what is the business we're going to get down to?
The business of you leaving the train right now.
Oh, come now. Dark out there in the tunnel.
Lower that window.
Well, let all the smoke in.
Lower it or...
All right. Don't get so excited. There. See? No. Steady and noise.
Now, out of the window.
Out. Look, before I do, do you mind telling me why?
You are in my way.
I beg your pardon?
Before this train emerges from the tunnel, I intend to have the star of Thessely.
Oh, I see. You weren't by any chance crawling around the roof of the Parthenon the other night, were you?
Of course.
And, of course, you paid the porter to try and run me down at the railway station?
Of course, and each time that girl saved you. But nothing can save you now. Out of the window with you.
While I had kept him talking, the compartment had been filling with train smoke. I'd been calculating the lurch of the car. Now I turned towards the window slowly, waiting for the car to lurch once more. I braced myself at the window. The car gave a jerk, throwing Bullneck slightly off balance. I whirled, grabbed his gun arm, thrust my knee into his middle, and rolled over. Unfortunately, the train lurched a little more than I expected, and poor old Bullneck kept going right on in that window. I tore out of my compartment and down the corridor to Maylard's room. The light was out. If the light wasn't there, the old man was lying on the bed, breathing shadowy, obviously doped. I felt in his pajama pocket, and I felt around the bedpost. It was nowhere. It was gone. The star of Thessely was gone.
In just a moment, we continue with the third act of Suspense.
Have you ever thought of being a leader in your home community? For a minute, let's pretend that you are. It's an average community in most respects, neither rich nor poor, and with most of the problems that other communities have. But there is one problem that's a little different. Near the outskirts of town, there is a slum area, and you and the other leaders have long believed it should be cleared up. But the problem is not simple, because the people who live in this disease-ridden slum area have no wish to become part of the community. They remain by themselves. They will not mix. They will not do business. And they will not listen to advice. What would you do? Tell the other leaders of the community that what these people do is their own business, and how they live and die makes no difference to you? Or would you call in a group of experts who are experienced in clearing up such situations? Of course you would. because you know that poverty anywhere is a danger to prosperity everywhere. You would ask the experts to help the people pull themselves up by their bootstraps, up to a better way of life. Throughout the world, this is what the International Labor Organization is doing. It is an agency of the United Nations, which is man's best hope for higher social standards, peace, and justice.
And now, starring Ray Noble, Act 3 of The Star of Thessely.
The Star of Thessely was gone, and the man who had planned to steal it was gone, too. Who else was after it, then? Just there wasn't much time. I sent Cooler in to look after her grandfather, and I started to search the car, compartment by compartment. By the time I was halfway through, the train was out of the tunnel and slowing down for Swiss customs inspection. I heard a door open at the forward end and saw a figure slip out of the WC. It was Thessely. He threw open the vestibule door and dropped off the train, stumbling as he hit the gravel of the roadway. I jumped after him, but he was on his feet and running, his left leg limping badly. I nearly caught up with him when he turned suddenly. I saw the gun in his hand and dived in a flying tackle as it went up. All right, Hippie, old boy. I want two things from you. That gun.
Please, let me go, Captain.
And the Star of Thessely.
Let me keep it, Captain Smith. He does not need it. He has millions. Let me keep the star.
You know that it would probably kill him to lose that diamond.
It is only a pocket piece to him. He owes it to me. I've given him the best chance of my life. Let me keep this star, Captain Smith. Please, let me escape.
Come on, Hippie. Crying will get you nowhere.
You are just a heartless brute, Captain Smith.
Yeah, I know. But let's go for it.
I've been so worried.
Is he still asleep?
Yes, he hasn't moved.
Good.
What are you doing?
Putting the Star of Thessely back in his pocket. It was misplaced for a little while. Oh, and Cooler, I'm afraid you'll have to take over as your grandfather's nurse.
Why? Where is Hippolyte?
Well, he's still in love with the Alps, so he's stopping over for a while in Switzerland.
Dreadful weather. Beastly.
Hello, evening, chap.
Oh, evening, Chumley.
Well, aren't you going to ask me about my trip?
Trip? You've been away?
Yes, I
Thought I hadn't seen you about for a few days. Dreadful weather we're having, isn't it?
Oh, yes. Beastly.
Suspense. In which Ray Noble starred in The Star of Thessely. Written, directed, and produced by William N. Robeson. Supporting Mr. Noble in The Star of Thessely were Lillian Byas, Ben Wright, Jay Novello, Byron Kane, and Abraham Sofair. Listen. Listen again next week when we return with another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Facilities of the United States Armed Forces Radio and Television Service.
The story you're about to hear concerns a murderer and his accomplices. One of the accomplices is innocent because it is a blind, brainless phenomenon of which scientists know little except that it does exist. This accomplice is a freak of nature which lives high in the stratosphere, at altitudes sometimes too great for commercial airliners, but at altitudes less and less challenging for military jets. It is a narrow river of wind. Sometimes it dries up like a creek in summer, but at the flood, its velocity is incredible. It has been clocked at 200 miles per hour. And just as a river will add its own speed to the efforts of an oarsman stroking downstream, this torrent of air adds its velocity to an eastbound plane clever enough to find the current. This river of wind is called the jet stream. This is the story of how it sped a murderer from his crime. Listen then, as Frank Lovejoy stars in Jetstream, which begins in exactly 1 minute.
And now, Jetstream, starring Frank Lovejoy. A tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
The day you decide to murder your wife can start like any other morning in New York.
May I help you, Mr. Martin?
Thank you, Vicky.
Including a letter from your wife, darling.
Oh, good. This ought to have the answer. Let me have it.
I thought of another one last night, darling.
Hmm?
Another way to murder her.
Oh?
All you have to do is sign out one of your jets from the Air National Guard and fly out to Los Angeles and strangle her. Be back the next morning and nobody will ever know.
Oh. I'm afraid they're not that fast unless I cross the jet stream, and besides, the cops just might suspect me if they pick up and call my name on a flight plan.
Oh, I figured that out. You sign out in Bud Lynch's name.
I see. Well, where do I get a hold of his instrument card, his service number, and such?
He keeps his military stuff in his desk.
And you had the key to every desk in the office. My, you have been thinking. Vicky, let's not play that game anymore. You're getting too good at it. Oh, look at this.
What's the matter?
Oh, no.
What is it, John?
She's finally going to do it. She's finally going to do it.
What?
She's going to phone Calloway. She not only won't consider a divorce, she's going to phone the boss.
John, it was 15 years ago and you were acquitted. You said so. You were, weren't you?
Well, of course I was. You think they'd let me fly in military planes if I'd been convicted by a court-martial?
If you were acquitted, what difference will it make to Calloway?
Suppose a client found out I'd even been accused of forgery. Calloway finds out, he'll have to fire me. You know that.
Why is she doing it?
Oh, she's jealous. She's bitter and twisted. She doesn't think straight. Half the time she's loose. But she was sober when she wrote this, I can tell.
Maybe you can make up with her. Take her back. After all, you have so much in common, your little son.
Oh, come on. Take her back. Are you kidding? You're what I want. You're everything I want.
Well, you have a funny way of showing it. How come you'd marry someone like that in the first place?
Well, let's call it the war, okay?
Okay.
Get me their number in L.A.
Yes, sir. John.
Yeah.
Did you forge a check?
I was acquitted.
That isn't what I asked.
All right. Yes, I forged the check. I had to.
But you were acquitted.
They couldn't prove it was me.
Good. I wouldn't want you to have been stupid. Even then.
All right. Now get me Millie, please. I opened the window and let in the sound of New York. The smell and feel of wealth and power was in the air. I'd come a long way from a two-bit copywriter's job in Los Angeles, and I wasn't going back. Hello, Millie.
Oh, do you know what time it is out here?
Yes, it's 7 a.m. in L.A. Now, look, Millie, I got your letter. Now, what do you want anyway? I'm sending you half my salary, more than half.
I didn't ask for any more money.
Well, what do you want?
Listen, lover, I'm your wife. Remember, I'm tired of being out here alone with Timmy while you live it up back there with some cheap dog.
Well, look, calling my boss is just going to lose me my job.
That's your problem. I'm calling Callaway, and I'm calling him today, and I'm telling him all about your glorious Air Force career. You got that?
Well, he's out of town.
Then I'll call him tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day, and the day after that. You understand? You understand that?
For a long while, I just sat there. And then slowly, I became aware of the model of the F-100 Super Sabre jet on my desk. I hardly heard Vicky come in.
Here's a speech for the Air National Guard, darling. You and Bud Lynch will be at the press club 8 sharp tonight.
Oh, okay. Leave.
And here's something else.
I stared at the card she'd handed me for a long moment before it registered. It was a flight instrument card just like my own, but typed on it was Bud's name. Captain V.L. Lynch, New York Air National Guard, service number 3476218. For a long time, I stared at it with the blood pounding in my ears. Outside line, please. Mitchell Field, give me the weather desk. Weather, this is Captain Lynch, B.L. Lynch, Air National Guard. I'm requesting a plane to cross country to L.A. and return tonight. Is the jet stream active? That much? Good. Let me have the operations officer.
In a moment, we continue with the second act of Suspense. And now, starring Frank Lovejoy, Act 2 of Jetstream.
Seriously. Some of our buddies in the Air National Guard have given more than time. They've given their lives. From you of the New York press, we ask this. Understanding of the occasional loss of life inevitable when civilians fly high-speed aircraft, and recognition for the records we break, the milestones we pass, and the security we bring to our country.
Oh, what a flag waver you are, John.
Thank you, Bud. How'd the time come out?
It's just 8:30. You came right out on the nose. How about a drink?
No, I'll run along. I have some work to do at the house tonight. I had work to do. Not in my apartment, but at Mitchell Field, Long Island. I stood by my locker in my squadron's hangar and struggled into my G-suit. And when I took my helmet from the locker, I almost dropped it. On the front was my name, Major John Martin, A.N.G. Any one of a dozen people would have seen it. What was I doing? I wasn't a murderer. This is fantastic. Yet I found myself scraping the name from my helmet with my cheap knife. And then I went to operation. Yes, I'm Captain Lynch, the Lynch I called this afternoon for an F-100. Cross country to L.A. and return.
Yes, Captain, she's on the line. Did I see her instrument card?
There you are.
Okay, Captain, have a good flight.
Tower, this is Air National Guard Jet 4389. Request takeoff clearance.
4389, cleared for takeoff.
Roger.
You are airborne at 2129.
Off the ground at 21:29. 9:29 p.m. New York time, 6:29 p.m. California time. Millie would be putting Timmy to bed, probably. Or does a 2-year-old put himself to bed? An hour ago, I'd been speaking to the New York Press Club. In a few hours, I'd be in California. The modern jet was incredible. Then I remembered what I was using it for, and I almost turned back. But I pulled the computer out of my knee pocket and began to manage it. 5 hours later, after a refueling stop at Albuquerque, a vast glow in the west escape, the lights of Los Angeles. I looked at my watch. Not yet midnight on the coast. I'd made it on schedule. It still all depended on catching the jet stream going back. Going back after what? But now I had a landing to worry about, and then some fast talking to a refueling crew for the loan of a jeep. The house looked run down, shabbier than when I'd left it. Maybe she wasn't home. Then I could climb into the jeep and go back to the airport.
Well, John Martin, what are you doing here?
I came to talk to you, Millie.
You sure don't waste your time. Martin, you still playing Junior Birdman? My beneficiary in the insurance? Have a drink.
No, thank you.
Do you mind if I have one? There. Now, what do you want?
A divorce?
No.
Oh, Millie, there's no sense in our...
Unless you come back here to live, I'm calling your boss. Is that clear?
Why?
Because you're my husband. I don't like you horsing around with whoever you're horsing around with back there. I won't stand it, see?
Why do you want me back? You don't love me. You know you don't.
Don't love you? Buster, I hate you. Hate you, hate you, hate you. Oh, we woke him up. Now you'll bawl all night. You care to take a look at your son?
Yes, please.
See? You get to know your little boy, too. You can play baseball with him like it says on the book.
Oh, Millie, you're drunk.
And if you're lucky, Lowell coming, maybe your daddy will teach you for cat.
Stop it, Millie.
Wouldn't you like to learn how to be a paper hanger someday?
Shut up, you witch, you dirty witch!
In just a moment, we continue with the third act of Suspense. Now, starring Frank Lovejoy, Act 3 of Jet Stream.
I looked down at the body of my wife next to Timmy's crib. From then on, something seemed to take over, some instinct of self-preservation, perhaps. I slipped on my flight clothes. I knocked over a Mickey Mouse clock in Timmy's room as if in a struggle so they'd know the time of the murder. I went through Millie's bureau and took what cash I found. I ripped her bed to pieces. Then I went back to the nurse. For a long moment, I stood looking down at my son. Would a burglar kill him, too? It would be easy if it would help confuse him.
Mommy, I want my mommy.
I suddenly was sick with shame. I turned and ran out of the house. Sergeant, is that jet stream still active?
I hope to tell you, you can find it. It's at 45,000 feet, 190 knots.
190?
That's right. If you can find it, you'll be in New York before I get off watch.
You can't feel the jet stream any more than you can see it or understand it. But you can tell when you're in it because all your navigational estimates are wrong. You're flying the beam, but you're passing your stations too fast. Las Vegas. So soon. And yet a radio range doesn't lie. I checked my computer. I was in the jet stream, all right. I was in a river of air that was giving me an additional 200 knots over the ground. Now, if I could just stay.
Denver, Omni.
I was already picking up Denver.
Denver, Omni. Denver, Omni.
Denver Radio, this is Air National Guard Jet 4389, moving my Denver estimate up by 15 minutes.
4389, did you say in 15 minutes?
Affirmative, Denver, 1515.
Roger.
Now, let us see. Denver to Omaha. I would be half an hour ahead of schedule at Omaha, 45 minutes ahead of Detroit, and 1 hour at New York. I knew now that I'd make it. I opened the window in my office and let in the morning sounds of New York. I looked at my watch. It was just past 9. I'd made it. I'd even beaten the office people who worked. The shadow that had hovered over me for 15 years was gone. I should have been happy. But instead, I was empty and lonely. I heard Vicky arrive at the desk outside and flipped on the intercom to call her, and I heard her talking to someone.
He may be late today.
Yes, I do know.
You told me yesterday. Who are you, anyway?
Lieutenant Berman, homicide. His wife was murdered this morning in Los Angeles. We think he did it.
Murdered? But John couldn't have done it. He was giving a speech to the press club last night.
He was. Well, we'll check on that. Anyway, he's in Los Angeles now. Say, where does...
John! See, I told you.
Are you Martin?
Yes, and you're...
Lieutenant Berman from Homicide. I have bad news for you, Mr. Martin, and an apology.
Bad news?
Yes, sir. About 4 hours ago, your wife was strangled in Los Angeles, apparently by a burglar. I'm sorry to have to tell you.
Oh, John.
We'll do everything we can to apprehend the killer, sir, but frankly, there aren't any clues. The secretary will tell you we even suspected you.
All right.
What's the matter, John?
His wife was murdered this morning, Mr. Lynch.
Oh, no, John.
Hey, which one of you guys is Wentz?
I am. Why?
You an Air National Guard pilot?
Yeah?
I'm Johnson from the news. The boss sent me over to take your picture.
Me? Why?
That hop you made last night to L.A. and back.
What?
You just step away over here by the...
I don't know. I thought we were in the clear.
Get out of here.
Nuts. I haven't flown for a month.
Los Angeles and back, you said. So you didn't happen to visit your buddy's wife while you were there, did you?
Don't be ridiculous. Had a drink at the club after the meeting, was home by 10. Ask my wife.
Oh, Vicky, I guess this is it. I made the flight, Lieutenant. I used his name.
Well, John... He's crazy, Lieutenant. He's in my squadron, but... Well, he beat my instrument card for one thing.
Where is that?
Here, in my desk. It's gone.
Who has the key beside you?
Nobody. Just Vicky.
I see.
You're not going to make anything out of that.
You might.
I'd like to see you try.
All right, Martin, let's go. Say, Johnson, don't these National Guard jokers fly cross country all the time? What's so special about this?
Yes, Lieutenant, I thought I told you. This guy hooked onto the jet stream they talk about. Under 11 hours to L.A. and back. The National Guard figures he broke the world record.
What did you say?
He broke the world record.
John, did you hear him? You broke the world record. You idiot. You stupid idiot. Stupid.
All right, miss. All right, you better come along, too.
Suspense. In which Frank Lovejoy starred in William N. Robson's production of Jetstream by Michael Frost. Supporting Mr. Lovejoy in Jetstream were Alan Morgan, Virginia Gregg, James McCallion, Harry Bartell, Norm Alden, and Sam Pierce. Listen. Listen again next week when we return with another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
A murderer is a psychopathic individual. He has a screw loose, minus some of his marbles. No rational, sane person deliberately sets out to kill another human being, or himself for that matter, excepting under one special condition, when he gets behind the wheel of an automobile. Then all the rules of human behavior are rescinded. Anything can happen, and with tragic frequency, does. The mild-mannered Mr. Milquetoast becomes an angel of death. Astride his 350 horses, he ranges the highways of the nation with the murderous vengeance of a latter-day Genghis Khan. He cannot be persuaded. He cannot be reasoned with. His headlong rush to destruction, his own or anyone else that might be in his path, is only somewhat deterred by the highway patrolmen who daily risk their lives in the ceaseless struggle against murder on wheels. Of such elements is constructed the story you're about to hear. It is a moral tale, but a chilling one. Listen then, as Everett Sloane stars in Speed Trap, which begins in exactly 1 minute.
And now, Speed Trap, starring Everett Sloane. A tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Sometimes it takes you years to get to know a guy. Sometimes on the highway patrol, you learn all about a man in 10 minutes. Like the night Craig Hollister checked me out on my new beat.
And there's a soft shoulder here, Rod.
I didn't answer him. I was too busy sweating the grade. The wheel was easy in my hand. Too easy, like it always is on a slick highway. My headlights caught the rain and sleet slanting down from the path. Hollister wiped the mist off the windshield. I thought of loosening my collar, but I didn't want to make a bad impression on him. I knew he was a good patrolman. They'd told me at headquarters. Well, good patrolmen go by the book. I wiped my hands one at a time and changed my grip on the wheel.
There's a curve coming up.
I don't see why they need us on this road. A driver'd be nuts to go over 30.
People speed anywhere. This turn's called a corkscrew. Awful slick in the rain. I found 4 kids here in a station wagon after the last storm. Oh, was left up anyway.
Well, brother, I'll take this one in second.
There's another rough curve coming up. We've had 3 fatalities here this winter.
I don't know if I'm going to like this beat.
That isn't bad. Once you got used to the blood.
You say you actually catch speeders on this highway?
Yeah, that's how I met my wife. She was speeding along here. Oh, that reminds me. Dispatcher, this is 3022.
Go ahead, Craig.
Say, Joe, will you call Debbie and tell her to pick me up at headquarters?
Okay. You better get down here before she does. A doll like her is the same around me.
You old relic, she could break your arm. Now, Joe, it's awful slick up here. Tell her to take it easy on the grade, will you?
10-4 1/2.
Well, this was pretty good. You wanted your wife to meet you. You gave the dispatcher a call on the radio. That was something they hadn't taught me at the police academy.
I sure hope she doesn't try to break any records. Not tonight.
You say you caught her speeding on this stretch?
Yeah. She was roaring down the grade with a car full of summer tourists. All of them tanked to the eyeballs.
Including your wife?
Well, I thought so. I wrote it up that way.
Yeah, then what happened?
Well, the judge thought otherwise. Debbie cried, and her father had just given the county a new library, so the judge decided that she'd never had a drink in her life. And there wasn't a dry eye in the courthouse.
And you married her?
Yeah, it's the best thing I ever did. I think.
You think?
Oh, today was our anniversary. I couldn't even spend it with her. She's been up there on the mountain alone all day.
That's tough.
Well, this beat's kind of lonely for a woman. Eddie says she doesn't mind. I think she's bored. Well, here's a good spot. Pull over.
Pull over?
Yeah, we'll wait here and follow her down.
Oh, why?
Well, sometimes she still drives this grade too fast, all right? With us back of her, she will take it easy.
So I pulled over, of course. I was tired. I was trying to get my own wife moved into our cabin, but the man said pull over and wait, so I pulled over and waited. I lit a cigarette. In the flare of my match, I could see he was squinting up the road. This joker was worried about something. He caught me looking and seemed kind of ashamed.
Huh? She'll be long enough.
Sure, no hurry. But you can't follow her everywhere, you know.
Look, Art, I'm getting a transfer. Debbie and I will be out of these mountains in a week. It's slick tonight, so it's okay with you, partner.
Oh, sure. Sorry.
Hey, what's the
matter?
Look at those headlights up there.
I twisted around in my seat. Half a mile up the grade, a pair of headlights stabbed over the cliff. Seemed to hang there. Hollister gripped my shoulder. The light straightened suddenly and got brighter and brighter. The guy was practically flying.
Holy smoke.
Hollister was big. He didn't look like he could move very fast, but he was nothing but a blur jumping out of the patrol car. He was around the hood and swinging a flashlight in circles before I could even turn on my red light. Crazy headlights seemed to reach out at us. Hey, you okay, Hollister?
Yeah. Well, let's take him.
Now, I thought you had it.
Close, but no cigar. He must be blasted. You got his tag, the lights blinded me.
Oh, I could just see it was a black sports car, that's all. Looked like a Jag.
A Jag?
Yeah. Aren't you going to call the dispatcher?
No. Pappy ought to be parked near a halfway house. A Jag, huh? Hello, 2429. This is 3022.
It was a Jag, all right. And I caught a flash of the driver. It was a woman driver, young, blonde, with a crazy grin on her face. I felt sick. I'd picked up the pieces after a few wrecks down in the valley. It's bad enough when it's a man, but a young girl.
222, Pappy, we're after a possible 502, 3 miles north of halfway house. He just about ran me down. Now be careful, huh?
I'll try to take him. 10-4.
Her, not him.
Is this curb tight, Art? What'd you say?
That driver. It's a woman.
A woman?
I think so.
Yeah. After this curve, you can cut loose for about 800 yards, then try to get me close enough to spotlight her license.
Hang on, partner.
Holy smoke.
Did you get the number?
Well, the plate's covered with mud. You must have dragged a wheel on the shoulder.
Maybe on the next stretch I can try again.
No, we don't need the number.
What do you mean?
Well, you saw the car, a black Jag, you said.
Yeah.
A girl driving, you said.
Yeah, why?
Well, it's got to be Debbie's car. It's got to be my wife.
In a moment, we continue with the second act of Suspense. And now, starring Everett Sloan, Act 2 of Speed Trap.
Car, then whipped my eyes back to the slick mountain road. So you think that's your wife?
Yeah, it's gotta be.
Oh, look, there are probably 100 Jags on the highway tonight. Why does this have to be your wife?
You wouldn't know, and I haven't got time to tell you.
Well, why would she try to run you down?
She doesn't know what she's doing.
What do you mean?
She's fried. She wanted me to take her out tonight, but I had to show you the road, so we had a fight. She must have sat around and got plastered, I guess. Well, she's gonna roll that thing, and that'll be it.
Are you sure it's
Yes, I'm sure. I can see it coming, alone in that house every day. That's why I put in for the transfer. But now it'll be too late. Art, we've got to catch her. Try to get her before Myers Curve.
Well, I'm doing my best. But these sports cars, that Jag's like it was glued to the road.
No, it isn't glued to the road. It'll roll just like the rest of them. It'll roll.
You want me to try to take her again?
No, not here, Art, not here. If she speeds up anymore, she hasn't got a flare on Myers Curve. Just hang back and don't press her.
Then he did something that wasn't in the book. He reached over and cut our growler, and he flicked off the red light. I started to turn it back on and felt his hand on my wrist.
No, leave it off. Maybe we're scaring her. Now, if she doesn't slow down, she'll never make it.
Then she started her turn on Myers Curve, and it was easy to see she wouldn't make it. It's the roughest turn on the grade, and 100-foot drop to the riverbed below. The taillights hesitated for a second like they were making up their minds whether to run into the hill or over the side. The car slid sideways, rear toward the river. She was going over backwards.
No, baby, please.
I took my foot off the gas. Out of the tail of my eye, I saw Hollister cover his face. And then I was fighting to stay on the road myself. Suddenly, the miracle happened. She'd made it. She'd made it. Now we had to do it.
Nice going, Art, nice going. 2429. This is 3022. We're a mile north, still unable to catch the 502. She's doing about 75, and I suggest you start up and we'll try to box her, but be careful of her.
This is 2429. Did you say her?
Yeah, it's a woman.
Up to 65. She's slowing down?
No. No, she's swinging left. She's wild, Pappy. Be careful.
10 for her.
Hush it. She's swinging right, Pappy. Let her by. Let her by!
Let her by. How are you going to make an old-time patrolman let a drunk pass him on the road? No, Pappy tried to fight it. He tried to ease her onto the shoulder. For a second, I thought he had her. But the convertible lurched back. The two sets of taillights got closer. And then Pappy was off the road, over the shoulder, bouncing and rolling down the embankment. I eased my foot off the accelerator, praying that it wasn't as bad as it looked.
What are you doing?
I'm going back for Pappy.
Well, what about her?
Call the dispatcher. They'll stop her if she doesn't go off the road first.
Stay on her tail.
What? Are you off your rocker? They'll stop her.
That's my wife, and I don't want her killed. Now stay on her tail.
But what about Pappy?
I say stay with her. I'm still running the street.
Yeah, but Pappy...
Dispatcher. Sure, this is 3022, a mile south of Halfway House. That 502 just ran Pappy off the road. Send an ambulance. We're staying on her tail.
This isn't Joe. This is Sergeant Capehart. I'm setting up a roadblock outside of headquarters. She won't get through it. Go back and help Pappy.
What kind of a roadblock?
No word.
You aren't shooting at a woman.
If she tries to run this block, we'll shoot at her. Now you get back to Pappy.
Sarge, that girl.
Don't you worry about the girl. I'll take care of her. Get back to Pappy.
But that's Debbie, Sarge. That's my wife.
Sorry, Holiday. She just run my best man off the road. She said she almost hit you. Now there's trucks and cars coming up the lower grade, and she'll hit one of them if we don't stop her. So we'll stop her if we have to blast her off the road.
In just a moment, we continue with the third act of Suspense. And now, starring Everett Sloan, Act 3 of Speed Trap.
I felt sorry for the man beside me. I knew what was happening outside headquarters. A couple of patrol cars rolling into position, spotlights pointed up the grade, guys drawing automatic rifles and maybe shotguns, flares set out further up the hill, a reception committee for Craig Hollister's wife. Not what he'd planned when he'd asked her to meet him at headquarters. But there was nothing I could do. I slowed down carefully.
Keep going.
You heard the sergeant. Pappy might be bleeding to death.
He's only a quarter of a mile from Halfway House. They can do as much for him as we can. Now, you stay on her tail.
Craig, I can't. They'll suspend me.
Art, don't make me pull my gun on you. Now, watch this next curve.
But what can we do? We can't stop her.
If she tries to run the barricade, they'll blow her apart.
If she... Hang on. If she doesn't slow down, she won't even get to the barricade.
Turn off your light.
Turn off my light?
That's right. If she doesn't see us, she slows down a little.
Well, how am I going to see?
Use her light.
Her light. Fine. Great. But what if there was something coming up the grade? I wondered if Hollister had gone nuts. He was peering ahead. He seemed to have got hold of himself. I didn't really think he'd pull a gun on me, but suddenly I knew I'd go along with whatever he was trying to do. I flicked off the light. It seemed to help. The car ahead lost some of its crazy fear.
Now you're gaining. Okay, use the stretch here. Oh, Debbie, baby, watch out, watch out.
We're gaining, but if she makes this turn, she's only got a mile to the barricade.
Is that a car coming?
It's a truck.
Debbie, please, get over, get over.
She won't make it. She won't. Watch out. Get your lights off.
Okay, now catch her.
Hey, you gonna shoot her yourself?
I hope not. I hope not. Look, you have to get closer. I'll never do it from here.
Closer, the man said. I was already pushing 80. The range was still too far unless he was aiming for a lucky hit or an unlucky one.
You gotta catch her by that stretch in front of headquarters.
Right. He was going to shoot out a tire. It would have to be there. The only level shoulder on the grade. But that was where the barricade was. Well, we just have to get her this side of it. Hollister rolled down the window, and I felt a spray of rain on my face. And suddenly I saw the barricade spotlight.
It's blowing in it.
Now, putting on speed.
Well, I can't wait any longer.
The range was just too great. It had to be her left rear tire. If she went off the other way, she'd be killed. But she was just too far away. Suddenly, not really wanting to, I jammed down the accelerator. The rear end swayed and lurched. My hands were sweating with fear.
Thanks, son.
And that did it. The convertible began to turn, hesitated, and headed for the shoulder. It leaped, hit the dirt, half turned. Debbie! I skidded all the way through the roadblock. The guys from the barricade beat us back to the crash. But it was just as well, because without help, I'd never have been able to keep Hollister from the ruined convertible.
Let me go.
Will you help me off, Hollister? Wait till we get her out. The doc's coming now.
But I killed her. I killed her.
No, we don't know. Here's the ambulance. Doc? Doc, she's right down there. And how's Pappy?
Broken leg? Oh, that's the car that ran him off the road?
Yeah, that's it. A patrolman and an ambulance driver set a litter by the ambulance. Two other guys had Craig in their patrol car trying to calm him down. The girl was hurt bad, but she was alive. I started back to the patrol car and stepped back to let a convertible pull off onto the shoulder. A girl got out, a pretty girl. And I thought of the kid by the ambulance who would never be pretty again. Then I felt the sergeant's hand on my arm. He was staring at her.
Mrs. Hollister.
Yes, Sergeant. What happened? Where's Craig?
Well, he thought...
Oh, the poor thing. She's such a kid.
Yeah, but she figured she was old enough to get fried to the gills and make that grade on a rainy night. Your husband saved her life.
How?
Oh, he and Artie almost broke their necks catching her. I'd have blasted her to pieces.
Where's Craig? Is he all right?
Debbie! Oh, Debbie! Oh, Debbie, honey.
What's the matter, darling?
Oh, Debbie, it wasn't you. I thought that... Skip it, Hollis. No. Oh, no. Debbie, you ought to know. I want you to. Debbie, I thought the girl was you.
Me? Why me?
Well, it was the same kind of a car and the speed.
Oh, I see. And it could have been me, couldn't it?
A long time ago, maybe. A long time ago.
Well, his arm was around her when they walked away, and Craig Hollister had a kind of thoughtful look in his eye. I turned back to the sergeant.
Oh, are you okay, kid?
Oh, sure. Say, Sergeant, about us not going back for Pappy, I was driving, you know.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I guess I should have.
It. You learn anything tonight?
Yeah. I learned a lot. And, Sergeant, you know what?
What?
I think Hollister did, too.
Suspense. In which Everett Sloan starred in William N. Robeson's production of Speed Trap by Hank Searles. Supporting Mr. Sloan in Speed Trap were Ellen Morgan, William Conrad, Jack Crucian, and Lawrence Dobkin. Listen. Listen again next week when we return with another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Each year, thousands of short stories roll out from a multitude of typewriters and march across the pages of our magazines toward well-deserved oblivion. Few are memorable. Fewer still are classics. They pass the time and are forgotten even before the paper in which they are written is reduced to black ash. But occasionally, a story is written that is a true classic, an unforgettable tale. Listen to such a one now, as Joseph Cotton stars in Ambrose Bierce's weird and wonderful story of the Civil War, An Occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge, which begins in exactly 1 minute.
Another visit with Joe and Daphne Forsythe.
Joe, stop reading that paper and talk to me.
I'm listening. Go ahead.
Well, I was talking to Mrs. Snyder today. You know, she's the one whose boy had 31% less cavities.
Uh-huh.
Well, she thinks that we should buy bigger savings bonds.
Uh-huh.
She says that when people can afford it, it makes more sense. Oh, she says there are a lot of different denominations. They start at $25, but then there are $50, $100, $200, and even $500 bonds.
Is that so?
And then with the ones we've already bought through the payroll savings plan, we'd have quite a nest egg.
Uh-huh.
Are you listening to me?
Uh-huh.
Did you know that the total accumulated compounded semi-annual interest of the Series E savings bond will amount to 93 1/3% of the original purchasing price?
Uh-huh.
I thought so. Joe, what did I say?
You said that United States savings bonds are a safe, easy way of investing.
I did.
That they help guard our country's freedom.
And?
They're the best investment in America's future.
I said something else, too.
Oh, yeah. You said that the total accumulated compounded semi-annual interest of the Series E savings bond will amount to 93 1/3% of the original purchase price.
Well, now, how did you do that?
Husband's trade secret.
And now, Occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge, starring Mr. Joseph Cotton. A tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
A man stood upon a railroad bridge in northern Alabama, looking down through the ties of the swift water 20 feet below. The man's hands were behind his back, the wrists bound with a cord. A rope closely encircled his neck. It was attached to a stout cross timber above his head. He thought,
if I could free my hands, I might throw off this noose and dive into the creek. If I swam underwater, I would be safe from their bullets. If my wind held out, I could make the southern bank, take to the woods, and get away home.
Peyton Farquhar, Alabama planter, stood at the end of a plank. The captain of the Union Army and a sergeant stood at the other end. When they stepped aside, the plank would tip upward, and Peyton Farquhar, Confederate spy, would slip between the ties to hang until dead above the muddy water of Owl Creek. The captain steps aside, draws his sword, flourishes it to a carry, sings out a command. The men on the bank smartly spread their legs, thrust hands forward over their rifle barrels. The sergeant on the end of the plank takes one step to the left. The plank tips forward, and Peyton Farquhar drops between the timbers of Owl Creek Bridge.
It takes longer to tell it. As you drop downward, you lose consciousness. You are as one already dead. Then you awaken sharply in pain. To feel, not to think, just to feel. The cutting pressure on your throat, the agonies of pulsating fire shooting from your neck downward. To feel the fullness, the congestion, the head bursting with suffocation. Distantly beyond, outside yourself, you hear a splash. Remotely, you sense cool, wet, green darkness. The rope is broken. You have fallen into the stream. Come, Peyton. They can't lick you. The rope's giving. Again. Try. Try once more. That does it. You must breathe when you come to the surface. You must breathe quickly. For if they haven't hanged you, and they fail to drown you, you can't let them shoot you. You dive deeply. But above the ringing in your ears, you hear the volley of the rifles. As you rise toward the surface, you meet shining bits of metal singularly flattened, the distorted and spent bullets oscillating slowly downward past you. One catches you in the collar. It feels uncomfortably warm. You snatch it out. And this gray piece of Yankee lead reminds you of the gray uniform on the soldier who is responsible for your being here. It was only night before last when the soldier had ridden up the driveway as you and your wife sat under the magnolia trees in the cool twilight.
Evening, sir.
Evening, Corporal.
If I might trouble you for a glass of water, sir.
Of course.
Oh, don't disturb yourself, Peyton. I'll go fetch it.
You're most kind, ma'am. You'll indicate the
Oh,
well.
nonsense. You just sit a spell with my husband. You look as if you could do with some rest.
Yes, ma'am. Reckon I could.
I'll be back in a jiffy.
Thank you, ma'am.
Whose command are you with, Corporal?
Colonel Tolliver, sir, 13th North Carolina.
We get so little news down here. How are things going at the front?
Not good, sir. Damn Yankees are getting ready for another advance. They're repairing the railroad. They got it in shape almost to Owl Creek Bridge. And they got an outpost there. Once they can run trains beyond the bridge, there's nothing to stop them between here and Atlanta.
Then why hasn't the bridge been destroyed?
Military couldn't get near it. Civilian might.
Owl Creek Bridge. Well, that's not far from here, is it?
Less than 20 miles.
You say they have an outpost there? Which side?
The other side. There's nothing on this side but a couple of pickets half-mile out on the railroad and a single sentinel at this end of the bridge.
And this bridge is important.
Sure is.
Well, what if it were destroyed?
Hold up the Yankees several weeks.
Now, suppose a man, a civilian like myself, should elude the picket post and get the better of that sentinel. What could he accomplish?
Well, I was there a week ago, just before we had to pull out. There's a heap of driftwood come down last winter's flood. It's caught on the trestle at this end. Looks mighty dry and tendery to me.
I see.
Fellow with enough gumption might get through and set fire to it. Ought to burn like tow.
Yeah. It should.
Here's your water, Corporal. Right out of the spring house.
Oh, thank you kindly, ma'am. It's cool and nice. Well, I reckon I better hit the leather. I got a lot of riding ahead of me tonight.
Well, good luck to you, Corporal, and thank you for your information.
You'd be taking a chance, sir, but you couldn't do a greater service for your country.
I'll remember that, Corporal.
Bye, ma'am. Bye, sir, and many thanks.
You break the surface of Owl Creek for a second time, and now you're much further downstream, further away from the Union soldiers on the bridge, reloading their guns, the ramrods flashing in the morning sun. Then something seems to grab you. You whirl round and round, spinning like a waterlogged top. You're caught in a vortex, a whirlpool. The water, the banks, the distant bridge, the soldiers become indistinct blurs. You're helpless. You feel dizzy, sick to your stomach. Just as you felt last night when you crept up the bank toward the lone sentinel at the south end of the bridge and discovered that the sentinel was not alone.
There he is, boys. Grab him.
Got him, Sergeant.
Well, Mr. Peyton Farquhar, we've been expecting you.
How did you know mine?
Ways.
Well, look here, I'm a civilian.
Now, save your breath. Thank you, Maker, we didn't shoot you in the back. We don't do things like that up north. Get a trial, everything fair and square. All right, bring him along, man. Here he is, Captain, right on schedule.
Good work, Sergeant. Man, Lieutenant.
That's him.
Why, you were the corporal who stopped at my plantation last night.
That's right, Mr. Farquhar, but not of the 13th North Carolina Volunteers.
Farquhar, this is Lieutenant Saltonstall, Intelligence Officer, 5th Massachusetts Regulars.
You've trapped me. You've deliberately led me into a trap. I'm a civilian, a planter.
Also a Southern patriot, caught in the act of sabotage.
You can't prove it.
We don't have to.
But why have you done this? Why have you deliberately trapped me?
So much easier to eliminate civilian resistance by luring it into the open. Self the bait, too bad.
Now, look here. It is my constitutional right.
Which Constitution? The Constitution of the United States of America or Jeff Davis?
You insulting Yankee.
Remember your manners, sir.
I demand a trial.
We've just had it. Post the guard over him, Sergeant.
Yes, sir.
We'll hang him in the morning.
In a moment, we continue with the second act of Suspense. In what form can an act of military heroism be acknowledged? In one example, the form is a rectangular blue ribbon set in a gold-colored metal frame of laurel leaves, worn centered over the right breast pocket of the uniform.
A bronze oak leaf cluster may be affixed to the ribbon for each subsequent award of the same decoration. This is the emblem of the Distinguished Unit Citation, awarded to units of our armed forces and those of our allies for extraordinary heroism in action against an armed enemy. One of America's newer military decorations, it is designated to recognize activity on or after December 7th, 1941. The Distinguished Unit Campaign streamer is blue, with the name of the cited action embroidered in white. To be eligible for this citation, the degree of heroism required is the same as that which, in an individual, would warrant the presentation of our second highest award for valor, the Distinguished Service Cross. The Distinguished Unit emblem may be worn permanently by all those involved in the cited action, but for those individuals joining the unit later, the emblem may be worn only for the duration of their assignment. Both as individuals and as members of military units, America's servicemen have proved themselves worthy of medals and worthy of admiration by their countrymen.
And now, starring Joseph Cotton, Act 2 of Occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge.
But they didn't hang. The rope broke and the whirlpool carried you away, and now you realize that the whirling has stopped. You open your eyes. You're lying on the southern bank of the stream, out of sight of your enemies. Safe. You leap to your feet and run into the woods south towards home. It's nearly noon now, and for half an hour you've been plunging through a swamp waist deep in green ooze. Your neck hurts constantly, your head throbs, and your tongue is thick. Gnats swarm before your eyes, catching the eyelids. Mosquitoes buzz in your ears, drill deep in your hands and swollen neck. You can't go any longer. You slow down, you stop. You reach toward a palmetto root for support, and it slithers from your grasp and slides softly into the water. What a moccasin. Fear finds you at last. Terror, which stood aloof when you fled the executioner's bullets, now embraces you with clammy unction. Now, what a moccasin. Now each branch and root seems to writhe under your glance. The swamp is undulating with certain death. You plunge on through the dark, stinking ooze, on and on, tripping, stumbling, never stopping. For terror rides your back, flogging you with the whiplash of fear.
Farquhar fitted the fiddle in jig time. Now you just drink this here yarb tea, Master Farquhar.
Thank you. Jethro.
That's a nice Farquhar.
What are you doing here?
I live here.
You live where, Ma? What happened?
Well, I was poling my dugout and coming home through the swamp with a mess of catfish, and I sees you laying out there on the bank in front of my cabin.
Jethro, I heard. I thought you were dead.
Oh, me?
You knew he had consumption when you sold him. You knew he couldn't last long, and he wasn't earning his keep. His wife and his daughter had carried on some at first, but after a while they calmed down. And last you heard of Jethro. He was dead.
You thought I was dead, Master Farquhar. What's that? Don't you know what done happened to me? I'm free. I'm free at last. Yes, sir, I'm free. And I expect pretty soon my woman and my little girl going to come along and join me. How is they, Master Farquhar? Is they well?
Yes, indeed. They're both fine.
Oh, I'm sure glad to hear
Jethro,
that.
I don't know how to say this, but I really was sorry about having to sell you. But there wasn't anything else I could do.
I understand, Master Farquhar, and don't you pay it no mind. I done forgive you long time ago.
You have?
Well, sure. Don't the Lord tell us to forgive those who trespass against us? And don't the Lord promise us we shall be free? Don't you worry none about it, Master Farquhar. Hey, yeah now. Quiet there, Spock. Quiet, chigger. They must have heard a razor back in the brush. Oh, come no horse. Look, Master Farquhar. There's a horse coming down the back road. Why, I swear it's a soldier. Our soldiers. Corporal, look like.
Jethro, you've got to hide me.
How come I got to hide you, Mas Farquhar?
Don't ask so many questions, you insolent...
Mas Farquhar, you forget. I'm free now.
Well, then, just as an old friend of mine, please, just hide me. Don't tell that soldier anything.
Well, sure. I reckon I can do that for an old friend, Mas Farquhar.
Yeah.
Here, you get on under this bed here, and I'll put the covers over the side.
You come this far just to be turned in by a wool-gathering black who talks crazy? If Jethro knew this gray-clad corporal was really a Union lieutenant, he'd guarantee his freedom by turning you in. Unless, of course, he's planning to dispose of you himself. Yes. Going to do it himself.
Don't tell him I was listening.
Yes, sir. I remember not telling.
Just keep minding your own business, Uncle. You'll live longer. Yeah.
Y'all can come on out now, Mas Farquhar. I declare I don't understand none of this. You said not to tell him you're here, and he says not to tell you he's been here. Now, what's this all about, Mas Farquhar?
Oh, it's nothing, Jethro, nothing. I owe the man some money, and I'm not ready to pay it yet.
Oh, I see. Well, I wouldn't know nothing about that. Money's something never bothered me like it do most. Money and me's always been strange.
Jethro, what are you going to do with that knife?
What? Oh, I was just fixing to slit up some of them catfish I got in the dugout. Looked like you could do with a little food, Mas Farquhar.
Oh, no, thank you, Jethro. I want to get home by sundown. If you'll just tell me which way I should go.
Well, I don't rightly know, Mas Farquhar. Reckon from the way the sun's reclining, it'd be down the road that way.
Yes, that should be about right.
I ain't never been back, you know. Ain't never tried to go back since I've been free.
Yes, yeah, I know.
I reckon it won't be long till my woman and my little one comes here to me.
Of course.
If you get back, Mas Farquhar, if you sees them, you tell them I'm here waiting for them.
Yes, I'll do that, Jethro. I'll do that.
In just a moment, we continue with the third act of Suspense.
We have, together, ample capacity and freedom to defend freedom. This is NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. The strategic land area covered by the North Atlantic Treaty is vast and is divided into three major commands in accord with geography and political factors: European, Atlantic Ocean, and Channel commands. Combined, these cover a land and water mass stretching virtually from the North Pole to the Tropic of Cancer. Those of Europe and Africa. The United States of America is a part of NATO. You should be aware of and alert to the programs and objectives of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization.
And now, starring Joseph Cotton, Act 3 of Occurence at Owl Creek Bridge.
How long have you been running down this endless road? It's dark now. Is it night? No, the darkness is only the black of a sudden summer storm. That lightning flash clearly shows the white road ahead and the black silhouettes of trees along the sides. Another flash of lightning directly overhead. For an instant, you seem to see the soldiers of Owl Creek Bridge standing at the side of the road, rifles leveled, their eyes boring down the sights, aiming at your heart. Again, the lightning. And on the other side of the road, the gray-clad corporal sits astride his horse waiting for you. No, you can't get me now. This bolt of lightning strikes a tree ahead of you. And in the white blinding light stands Jethro, black and grinning, knife raised in the air. No, Jethro, forgive me. He's gone now. Now you see dangling from each tree along the road a noose. Swinging in the wind, wherever you turn, wherever you look, a noose waiting for you. A noose which wriggles like a water moccasin. You are standing on the green lawn of your plantation before the high-columned entrance.
The storm is over. The clouds are black and menacing all around the horizon, but through a break in the sky overhead, glorious sunlight streams down, bathing your garden and your house in heavenly light. You are home, and now you hear a rustle of crinoline, and down from the wide portico steps your beloved wife. She runs across the lawn, arms outstretched.
You're back, just as you promised you'd be.
For this moment you have endured the agonies of this day, and were those agonies multiplied 1,000 times, they would be small price for the benison of this breast, the sanctuary of these arms, the security of these lips. You step forward to fold your wife in your embrace.
The rope stretched tight, sang like a bowstring. Peyton Farquhar was dead. His body, with a broken neck, swung gently from side to side beneath the timbers of Owl Creek Bridge.
Suspense, in which Joseph Cotton starred in William N. Robeson's production of Occurence at Owl Creek Bridge, adapted by Mr. Robeson from a short story by Ambrose Bierce. Supporting Mr. Cotton in Occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge were Alan Morgan, William Conrad, Harry Bartell, Lou Merrill, Jack Crucian, and Roy Glenn. Listen. Listen again next week when we return with the youngest guest star in the history of suspense, 7-year-old Evelyn Rudy in Dog Star, another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Brought to you through the worldwide facilities of the United States Armed Forces Radio and Television Service.
Outstanding theater of thrills, the master of mystery and adventure, William N. Robeson.
There are many kinds of suspense, but the happiest suspense is the kind we share at this time of year with our children. The suspense which has its denouement next Wednesday morning. The suspense of what Santa Claus is bringing for Christmas. For the little girl in the upcoming story, however, there is no such suspense. All she wants for Christmas is a dog. And a dog she is certainly not going to get. To play this unhappy little girl, we have invited a most talented little girl to make her first appearance on radio. Already a star of TV and motion pictures, 7-year-old Evelyn Rudy now adds another medium to the domain of her talents. Listen Listen then as Evelyn Rudy stars in Dog Star, which begins in exactly 1 minute.
When the United States was still a young and growing nation, there came forth from all parts of the country idealists to create utopia. For example, there was John Humphrey Noyes, who dreamed up the Oneida Community in New York in 1847. It was designed to do away with sin and greed. In order to keep the community alive, small manufacturing industries were started. By 1880, the community living plan had died, and the industries had grown to great proportion and nationwide reputation. Had backfired, his efforts provided a contribution to American industry. Another idealist who seemingly had in mind the health and happiness of Americans was Henry Clubb. About 1855, Mr. Clubb got the idea that people would be healthier if they were vegetarians. He thought they'd be happier if they lived in octagon-shaped houses on octagon-shaped parcels of land in octagon-shaped cities. Unfortunately for Mr. Clubb, he decided to establish Octagonal City, the center of the Vegetarian Settlement Company, in a pretty dusty spot in Kansas. After one look at the hardships to be encountered on the barren plains, nearly every one of the subscribers to the vegetarian community went back to the non-vegetarian East Coast. One after another, communal living experiments bloomed, faded, and disappeared. There were the Shakers, the Separatists of Zoar, the Rapetite Harmonists, Brook Farm, and many others, all planned toward better living and better people. Dreamers of the American dream can't be judged merely on the basis of success or failure, for failure can show people of the future what not to do. American men and women built the United States into a great nation because they conceived their ideas and tried them out. This is indeed part of the great American dream, a dream which has become a decisive reality.
And now, Dog Star, starring Evelyn Rudy. A tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Daddy, honest, Daddy, the only thing I want for Christmas is a dog. Even if it isn't exactly the kind Mike was, that's all I want.
Ray, please.
Sorry.
Well, if she weren't such a tomboy, it'd be different. But can you imagine getting Julie a dollhouse or a painting set or a party dress?
I'm sorry, Anne. And Julie, no dog.
Then you shop for her. I'm tired of roaming around like a zombie in every store in town. You find her present.
If I can't have a dog again, I just don't care what I get.
Now listen, both of you. I like dogs just as much as you do. I loved Mike, too. But Julie loves them too much. She hasn't eaten a decent meal since Mike got killed. And it's not going to happen again. We're not going to put her happiness at the mercy of another brainless pup and every idiot speeder in town.
It wasn't Mike's fault. It was my fault. I should have kept him in the yard. It was my fault, but honest, I'd never, never, never let my pup out again if I could just have one.
Julie.
Honey, suppose I got you a bike. A big bike, a 26, okay?
But, Daddy, I don't want a bike. I want a dog.
Julie, come back here. It's getting dark.
Let her go, Ray. I said she could play with Timmy. Let her go.
Hey, Julie, what happened? Are you going to get a dog for Christmas? No. Hey, Julie, I got an idea. See, I asked my dad for a dog, and we moved Mike's doghouse over to my yard, and we can both play with him. How about that? Thanks, Timmy, but no. It just isn't the same. No, I guess not. Hey, Julie, I got my flashlight with me. You know what? What? Let's go up to Palmer Canyon and see if any ducks have flown onto the pond this evening. I don't feel like it, Timmy. Honest. Oh, come on. We might even see a goose. But how do the ducks find their way all the way down here from the north? Oh, it's something called instinct. Gee, what was that? Golly, I don't know. Sure was close. Sure was. Oh, it was a tree falling, I bet. Hey, here's the pond. Come on, Julie. I'm coming.
Oakdale Police. Lieutenant Spencer speaking.
Oh, this is Professor Goodwin at the observatory.
Oh, yes, Professor.
Lieutenant, for the past half hour, we've been tracking one of their later satellites. It landed about 3 minutes ago.
Huh?
We have a fix. It hit the Palmer Canyon area of Oakdale.
Yeah? You sure?
Positive. I'm leaving now. And, Lieutenant, I think you better get some men up there. Quick.
Sergeant, get 3 cars up to Palmer Canyon. Emergency hour. Call the off-section for guard duty. And call the chief on the highway patrol. Call the mayor, too. Tell him a satellite landed in Palmer Canyon.
I guess it's getting too late in the year for the ducks. Yes, we better start back home. What is that? What? I thought I heard a dog crying. I didn't. It is too. There's a dog down there by the pond. Where's the flashlight? Here. A little white dog. Oh, his legs are hurt. He can hardly crawl, it looks like. Oh, he's bleeding. And he's wearing something all torn up. Timmy, somebody must have tortured him. Yeah, poor fella. Hey, his tail's wagging. He likes you, Julie. Oh, poor little thing. Timmy, I'm going to keep him. What'll your dad say? We'll hide him. They won't torture you anymore. They won't hurt you anymore. We'll hide you. Where will you hide him? Like you said, we'll put Mike's old doghouse in your yard and take care of him there. Maybe when he's well, Daddy will let me keep him. Okay. Come on. Here. No, I'll carry him. Look, Timmy. What? He licked me. He licked my face.
Joe, you and Maury take the uphill side. And don't let anybody near the parachute unless Professor Goodwin says to.
Okay, we are. All right.
Okay, Professor, I guess that covers it.
Well, I'll sure be glad when the Air Force gets here. Just think where this thing has been.
Yeah. It looks like a metal beach ball with portholes. Hey, what's this, Professor? An oxygen mask for a midget?
Why, there was something in here. A dog, I bet. And this got knocked off its head.
Yeah, it chewed its way out of its harness. Here, look.
Hey, we got to find it.
There's blood on the ground, Professor. It won't go far.
We have got to find it, Lieutenant. We've got to find it.
For a long, long time, women have figured in the affairs of men. Yes, even in that masculine-dominated activity called war. And not only since World War II. During the Civil War in the United States, the battlefront saw many women laboring as nurses and sanitary workers. Quite a few others disguised themselves as men, enlisted in the infantry, and charged into battle until they were discovered to be women and were sent home to tend to their knitting. But some women were used as spies by both sides. And when it came to spying, Mata Hari was a slouch compared to Emma Edmonds. Emma had originally prepared to become a missionary nurse in Africa. But when the Civil War broke out, she changed her plans and signed up as a Union Army nurse. After months of nursing and fighting, at Bull Run and other battles, Emma Edmonds heard that General George McClellan was looking for a replacement for a Yankee spy who had been executed in Richmond. She volunteered for the job, suggesting that her gifts of mimicry and disguise, which she had used to entertain the soldiers, might be put to some use. After being interviewed by 7 generals, tested on her military knowledge and ability to ride and shoot, and proving that she could fool her closest friends with her effective disguises, Emma Edmonds was accepted as a Union spy. 11 times she risked her life crossing back and forth through the battle lines while gathering vital military information, which she reported to her commanding officer. During the dangerous missions, she successfully passed herself off as many different characters, both Negro and white, male and female. Although she was nearly discovered several times, she continued her work undaunted. Between spying assignments, she continued to nurse the sick and wounded. The story of Emma Edmonds is one of hazard and adventure, a story of a woman who endangered her life that her country should live.
And now, starring Evelyn Moody, Act 2 of Dog Star.
More coffee, Ray?
Late as it is. Imagine that satellite practically landing in our backyard. What an age. Well, I've got to get down to the office. I'll be back early to help with the tree. Goodbye, Julie.
Bye, Daddy.
Now, would you please take care of that thing for Julie we were talking about?
Julie, Timmy, come in. Having a knife, quick. What are you doing? Cutting him some meat, quick. Here. I was just looking at him. I got him a blanket like you said. How is he? Oh, he's asleep. Here comes your mother. Give me the meat. Here, put it in your pocket. Hello, Mrs. Roberts.
Hello, Timmy. What are you two up to?
Nothing.
Now, here is further word on the satellite which returned to Earth last night in Palmer Canyon. An overseas monitored report confirms the guess that there was a dog in the parachuted container.
Joy!
It is a small white husky similar to Laika, the ill-fated first space traveler. This one is called Chitka and wears its name on its collar. It was announced that it is trained to react to this name.
Julie, I was listening.
I'm sorry, Mommy. Can I go out and play?
You didn't finish your cereal. All right.
Julie, did you hear what he said? It's not the same dog. It sounds like it is. It does not. Now shut up. Okay, Julie. And here he is. Hi, Mike. We'll call him Mike. Look, he's opening his eyes. Give me the meat. Here, Mike. Oh, look, he won't eat it. He's pretty sick, Julie. Hey, let's see his collar. No. It's all funny letters, Julie. I can't read it. I'm going to take it off. Say his name, Julie. Mike. No, the one the radio said. No. We've got to know, Julie. I forget. No, you don't. You never forget anything. Chitka. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I won't let them take you back. I'm going to keep you anyway.
Chitka story. On this Christmas Eve, the little white dog has not yet been found, although he is thought to be injured. All veterinarians in the area have been alerted.
Well,
I return you now.
That satellite really shook up this town. Cops all over the place looking for the pooch.
Dad, if we found him, if our country found him, do we have to send him back?
I'm just a small-town lawyer, honey. There are big shots straining their brains on that one. We'd have to stick to international law, of course.
It's Timmy. I'll go.
Now, don't be long.
I won't. Hi, Timmy. How is he? Well, I just looked at him, Julie. I think he's awful sick. Come on, then. Have you got the flashlight? Yeah. Here he is. He just lies there panting like. Oh, he's got to be all right. He's got to be. Oh, Mike. He's sick, Timmy. Yeah, he sure is. Oh, Mike. Don't die. Please don't die. Give me the blanket, Timmy. What are you going to do? Come on, Mike. Come on, nice little dog. But they all know about him. I heard it on the radio. I have to. I can't let him die.
The Republic of the Philippines has been described as the most luxuriant group of tropical islands in the world. It has fertile coastal plains and valleys, more than 7,000 islands, and most of the population is concentrated in 11 of them. Ownership of land is one of the primary symbols of social position, since the typical Filipino is a farmer whose roots are deep in the soil he tills. Unlike our farmers, whose homes are generally on their farm, the Filipino taos, or farmers, live in small settlements, barrios, and walk to work in the nearby fields. The average Filipino home has 1 or 2 rooms and is made of bamboo and woven palm leaves. It is set on bamboo posts about 4 to 6 feet above the ground. This elevation not only keeps the house dry during the rainy season, but also provides shelter for the family animals. The Filipino family is closely knit and is built on a strong foundation of understanding between parent and children. An interesting note is the fact that the woman almost always handles the family finances. Since their inception as a democratic nation, the Republic of the Philippines continued to grow in stature as an active member of the international community.
And now,
starring Evelyn Rudy, Act 3 of Dog Star.
Don't worry, Mutt. Somebody will give us a ride. They've got to. Please stop this one. Please stop.
Yeah, kid. Where you going?
Central Avenue, sir. Anywhere on Central.
Okay, hop in. What you got there, kid?
My dog?
He shed any of that fur?
No, sir.
Central Avenue? What are you going down there for, Christmas Eve? A short beer, huh?
No, sir. A vet. I mean...
A vet? Hey, that dog hurt? Hey, look, he's bleeding from the mouth. Okay, kid, up.
Oh, mister, can't you please take us
Now, listen, these are no seat covers. Out.
Oh, Mike. Stay alive just 5 minutes. The vet'll make you well. Just 5 minutes. There's a light there. Somebody's home. They've got to be.
I'm off, sorry. We're closed. Oh, I see, honey. Doctor.
Coming. What seems to be the trouble, girl?
I'm Julie Roberts. And this is Mike, and I'm afraid he'll die.
Oh, now isn't that too bad? Say, what kind of dog is that, Julie?
A sort of a husky.
Yeah? Where'd you get him?
My dad got him for me. And tonight a car hit him and...
Martha, hand me that police circular.
Here you are, Doctor.
We'll just put him on the operating table. Chitka? Call the police, Martha.
Right.
Then I want you to take its blood pressure while I get a sample of blood and... let's see. Call the Air Force Base and ask them to send a flight surgeon down here.
Yes, sir.
Just tell them to hurry. I bring him away. I'm sorry, Julie.
Putting him away?
He's paralyzed, Julie. He couldn't run and do anything you'd want him to, even if they'd let you keep him.
But I care of him anyway, Doctor. I bring him his food and take care of him. Don't call them. Don't kill him. Give him back.
Honey, it's no use. He'd just suffer. You wouldn't want that.
Oh, Mike, nice boy. See, Doctor, he licked me. He'll get better.
No, you, Julie. You wait in the hall, and I'll ask the police to take you home.
Oh, Mike.
Oakdale Police. Yes, ma'am? No kidding. Yeah, well, thank you, ma'am. Hey, Scoop, you want to get that AP job in New York? Here's your chance. That pooch just turned up at the Parks Dog and Cat Hospital.
Holy cow. Fast Sarge. That is right, operator. I want embassy. I don't care what time they tell you is in Washington. Tell them he's about Chitka. Chitka. Tell them he's colleague.
Central Intelligence? Now, look, this is Peters in Oakdale. You give me the chief? Merry Christmas, Chief. The dog turned up. Yeah, some kid had it. That's right, a little girl. Name of Julie Roberts, 354 Popdale Terrace, Oakdale. Yeah, I'm sober. Little girl.
Что случилось, Читка? Это другой вопрос американскими ходками. Читка — совершенно собака. Американский держание был Читка. Момент. Это оскорбление советской републики.
present from your mother and me.
A bike. A big bike. Thanks, Dick.
You may need it to outrun the reporter.
It's just wonderful.
But, it isn't a dog.
No.
Well, your mother and I were talking, and I think... wait. Yes? Washington? Who? And get me a drink.
For breakfast? For what is
Get me a drink. Yes? Yeah. This is your father. Oh, sir, I can't believe... A crate? No, sir, not yet. Yes, sir, we'll be expecting it. Oh, thank you, sir. And a very Merry Christmas to you.
Ray, what's wrong? White as a sheet.
And give me that drink.
Dad, what's the Air Force car doing outside? Look, they're bringing a box up to us.
When this room's a mess.
Yes? Major?
Merry Christmas, sir. Is this where Julie Roberts lives?
Oh, yeah, yes.
Did the White House call?
Hey, yes?
Okay, open it up, Sergeant.
It's a puppy. A little white puppy.
It's for you, Julie. If your folks don't mind.
They don't.
Major, would you sit down?
No, ma'am. I have a girl to get back to myself. Merry Christmas, folks.
Ray, who was that on the phone?
And when I tell you, you'll never believe me. You'll never believe me.
Suspense, in which Evelyn Rudy starred in William N. Robeson's production of Dog Star by Michael Frost. Supporting Evelyn Rudy and Dog Star were Shirley Mitchell, Dick Beale, Shep Ming, Jack Crucian, Sam Pierce, Ben Wright, Lou Krugman, and Norm Alden.
The preceding special Christmas presentation has come to you through worldwide facilities of the United States Armed Forces Radio and Television Service.
The first day of the job. I was clerk in the liquor department of this supermarket. I hadn't been in Los Angeles for about a week. My brother, when I left New York, had given me this letter to a friend of his, a guy who owned a string of these supermarkets, and this guy had this opening, liquor clerk, and comes following Monday, I'm at work. It's one of those big places with hardly any clerks, you know? You pushed a little cart around and you helped yourself. To get out, you passed the cash register, and the girl loaded your stuff and rang up the price. Well, that's where the trouble was. This girl at the check stand. I hadn't noticed her until around noon, and when I happened to look up, there she was, looking at me. Just looking at me. Like she must have been 50 feet away at least, and with customers between us. But it was like we were all alone, the two of us, on a beach somewhere. An empty beach. Just you and me, baby.
Hey.
Just
you
and me.
Hey.
What?
What's the matter? Sleep on your feet?
What'd you say?
You're the new guy, huh?
Oh, yeah, I just started this morning.
I'm Nick Arnold. I work the vegetables.
Oh, Harry Carr. Pleased to meet you.
Yeah. You got 2 bottles of cold beer?
Sure. There you are. Only, don't open them here by the counter. You know, law.
I have them out back with my lunch.
Nick.
What?
The, gal over there by the cash register.
Mary?
Yeah, is that her name, Mary?
Yeah. What about her?
Well, that's what I was wondering. What about her?
Oh. No soap. She's married.
Are you kidding?
See that big guy over there with the knife? Kraus, the butcher.
Yeah?
Ask him if I'm kidding.
Well, who's he?
Her husband.
Oh.
See it.
I looked over at the butcher. He was a funny-looking guy, a real creep. He stood there sharpening a tremendous big cleaver, whistling to himself. He wore rimless glasses with thick lenses so that his eyes looked like baseballs. And when he saw that I was looking at him, he nodded and went on whistling and stropping. I looked over at her. She was giving me the eye again. We closed at 7. The vegetable guys carted out the old stuff, and the delicatessen man put away his pickles, and I checked the register, counted my slips, made out my entries. And Kraus, the butcher, was still there, packing and cleaning, putting stuff in that big refrigerator room back of the counter. But she had left. So I got into my street coat, and I walked on.
Hello?
She was standing looking at a shoe display a couple of doors down from the market.
I said hello. Don't you say hello wherever it is you come from?
Well, sure. Hello.
Taking the bus?
Mm-hmm.
Which way do you go?
Down to Western.
I'm going that way. I'll drive you.
Oh, no. I don't think you better.
What's the matter?
Well, I just wouldn't want to trouble you, that's all.
No trouble.
Well,
Come on. I'm parked right here.
Well, what about Mr. Kraus?
He'll be there an hour yet. He takes the bus.
Oh.
Come on. Don't be afraid.
Oh, I'm not afraid. I just don't think...
Oh, come on. Get in. All
day long, I'm pushing liquor at them, and now they're pushing it back at me.
You're cute, Harry. I mean it. You're cute.
Yeah, well, so are you, baby.
You really think so?
Sure, baby.
Harry, let's get out of here. Go someplace else.
Hey, I gotta work in the morning.
Silly. This is the morning.
It is. Hey, Mac, what's the time?
Almost 1:30.
You really think I'm cute, Harry?
Well, sure, baby. It's late. It's real late.
Don't worry, sugar.
Come on, I'll take you home, huh?
I'll take you home.
Of course, I felt lousy the next morning. I'm not much of a drinker, but she looked fresh as a daisy, smiling and joking with the customers. Well, I avoided her all day. I didn't like this setup. I didn't like to think about what must have gone on between her and Cross when she got in. When I came out that night, there she was, waiting for me. I tried to get away.
Harry.
But she said she had something very serious to talk over, and, well, the way she said it, I got in the car again.
He's awful. Really, you don't know.
Yeah. I guess it's tough.
You just wouldn't believe some of the things.
Yeah. Look, Mary.
He's crazy jealous.
Huh? What does he know about me? What did you tell him?
Well, I got in this morning, and there he was, sitting up like a fat old lady in his bathrobe. He said, "Where have you been?" I said, "What's it to you, Andy?" I call him Andy. Drives him crazy. He said, "Don't you think you can fool me?" And then he started to cry and talk real crazy.
Look, Mary, maybe we better not see each other again, huh?
Don't be silly. He doesn't know who you are, who it is.
Yeah, but he could find out.
Not unless I told him.
What? You wouldn't do that?
Of course not, baby. As long as you're good to me.
Next night, I stayed in the market after work. I was scared. I did inventory. I counted bottles. I cleaned the refrigerator. I changed the water in the soft drinks cooler. I just kept busy. And across the market, Krause was moving around, cleaning up. After a while, he took off his apron. He came over. What? Hello, Mr. Krause.
Give me a bottle of beer.
Well, yeah, sure thing.
All right to drink it here?
Well, sure. We're closed, aren't we?
Yeah.
Here's an opener for you.
Thanks. You're working late?
Well, you know how it is. Nothing to do evenings?
No?
No, I'm new out here. You know, it takes time to make friends.
Yeah. Listen, do you know my wife?
Your wife?
Yeah, you know her?
Well, isn't she the one who checks the groceries?
Yeah.
Oh, she's a very nice-looking lady.
Yeah. Listen, have you noticed anything funny going on there?
Funny?
I think somebody's playing around with her, and I want to find out who. Listen, have you noticed anything? I mean, some guy who shoots the breeze with her, something like that?
Well, no. No.
Then will you do me a favor?
Well, sure. What?
Keep your eyes open.
Yeah, I will, Mr. Krause. I promise you.
I'll find the guy. I'll find out who he is if it takes a year, and when I do, I'll kill him. Good night.
Good night. Real tough. With Mary looking over at me every now and then, giving me those big eyes, and Krause looking over and raising his eyebrows. Do I know who it is yet? Me making a long face and shaking my head. And then Nick, the vegetable man, comes over.
I see you didn't understand what I told you the other day, huh?
What? What's that, Nick?
About Mary. I told you she was a married woman.
What are you talking about?
I see you, the both of you, coming out of a bar the other morning.
You're nuts.
Don't pull the hard face with me, Harry. I ought to tip Krause off to what's going on.
Look, Nick, Nick, be a good guy, will you?
Be a good guy. I'm telling you, you better be a good guy and leave the butcher's wife alone if you know what's good for
I
her.
will, Nick. I will. I got no use for her.
You better not. You'll get what's coming to you.
Sure, Nick. Sure thing. I meant it. I had no use for her, but this was a broad you couldn't shake. That night, she was waiting for me after work outside the market, and she wouldn't listen to reason.
But, baby, you can't pull out until I'm ready to let you out. Now stop being silly and get in the car.
Look, can't you understand? I don't want any trouble.
There won't be any if you're smart. Oh, come on, baby. Let's go have some fun.
Look, Mary, please.
What is it? What?
Oh, hello, Nick.
I warned you.
Oh, look, Nick, you got it wrong.
Have I?
What is all this?
You shut up.
Don't you talk to me like that.
I'll talk to you like I please. Cheat, two-timer, tramp.
Harry. Hit him, Harry.
But I didn't hit him, because all of a sudden I knew what I had to do, and I knew that I had to do it fast.
Harry? Where you going, baby?
I didn't turn. Nick was still standing there beside the car. I went back into the market. Mr. Krause? Mr. Krause?
Yeah?
I found out.
What?
I found out who it is.
Who?
Who? Nick.
The vegetable man?
Yeah.
The vegetable man. I never did like him. I never did.
I got out of there then, and I took a fifth of bourbon home with me. No dinner. I just lay there on the bed for about 3 hours talking to myself. Then finally my mind was made up, and I started to pack. I was broke, but I didn't care. I'd have to skip out on my rent, but that didn't matter. I didn't care. I just wanted out. From Krause, from Mary, and from Nick. But I couldn't walk out and leave Nick on the spot, even if he was a snooping little rat, so I wrote a note to Krause. I said, I did it, Krause. Don't blame anybody else. Then I took the note, my bag, and the key to the market, and I tiptoed out of the room and house. I caught a bus, and I went to the market. The boulevard was deserted. I looked in through the glass door. In the back of the place up high, there was a red neon beer sign that blinked on and off, on and off. I unlocked the door, and I went in. I locked the door behind me. place was eerie in the dark with that red light blinking on and off. I went to the butcher counter first, and I laid the note on the scale where he'd be sure to see it. Then I crossed over to the liquor department. It was dark, and I kept bumping into things. And I thought, why am I acting like a criminal? And then I turned the light on. And the whole place was suddenly dazzling, and it hurt my eyes. I looked at the cash register. I was just thinking about maybe taking a couple of bucks when the light went out. But I hadn't touched the switch. There were other switches in the place, but I didn't know where. After that brightness, the place seemed twice as dark. The red sign blinked on and off. On and off. And then I saw him. Krause. He was standing behind the meat counter at the scale. He picked up the note, and he read it. I couldn't see his eyes, just the glasses. And every time the light blinked, they shone red, bright red, like some sort of a terrible toy. And then he yanked a knife out of the rack on the chopping block and started toward me. It was like a movie that you see one frame at a time. Each time the light blinked on, he wasn't where he'd been before. But he was closer. Closer. I hid behind a tower of dog food boxes. I could hear his squeaky shoes coming for me. And then they stopped, and there was another sound. He'd taken off his shoes. Very quietly, I bent and I took mine off, and I began to tiptoe away. And then I rounded a corner, and there he was, not 2 feet away from me, with his back to me. And I lost my balance, and I put my hand out to steady myself. And the whole display went over, and I ran. Then I was at the end of an aisle, and there was a wall, the back wall. And I turned, and he was coming straight at me. My hand touched something cold. It was a bottle. I grabbed it. It was ammonia. Klaus! You get back! You get back, Klaus, or I'll blind you! Klaus, I warn you, I swear I will! He stood there like a crazy giant, like a cyclops, staring at his eyes, the ammonia running down his face. But I didn't wait. I ran past him, bumping him aside. And I cut around the cash register and passed the delicatessen and the bakery into the door. No, it was locked. The key, I'd left it in the lock, and it was gone. Krause kept coming, feeling his way along, moaning, silhouetted in the light, gleamed like a tongue of flame on the knife that he'd held in his hand. I slid behind the counter of the meat department. Under my feet was sawdust. I bent and I scooped up a handful. And he moved his head from side to side, trying nearsightedly to see me. And then his head stopped moving, held it sideways, using one eye to see me. He came on, the knife held way back. And I waited. And I let fly with the sawdust, and I jumped to one side with my back up against the block, and he twisted and skidded in the sawdust, and he fell. And it was very still for a moment. And in the blinking light, I saw the knife. He'd fallen on it. It was sticking in the middle of his chest. Then, very slowly, he got to his feet, one hand over the place where the knife was. And then he started toward me again. He grabbed a cleaver from the chopping block, and I backed away. Behind me, I felt a large cold handle, the door to the meat storage room, and I heaved it open. Inside, it was cold, bitter cold, and it was dark. At the center of the door was one small, thick pane of glass. It was clouded, so I wiped it clear with my hand, and I looked out. And Krause stood there, his face an inch from mine, looking in at me. And then his eyes rolled back, and his face went slack, and he fell out of sight. He was dead. I was sure of it. I felt around in the dark for the door handle, but it wouldn't move. I heaved and I tugged, but it wouldn't move. Oh, maybe another door, I thought. Maybe there's another door out of this place. And I began to search for it in the dark, feeling along the icy, damp walls. I walked into something cold that swung gently when I touched it. A side of beef. But no door. I moved on farther.
Another icy cold thing. I'm crazy. I know it. I'm crazy. This one feels as though it's wearing silk stockings. So here I am. It's awfully cold. As cold as a tomb. Oh, the time goes slow. While I'm waiting, I'll tell myself the whole story again. And again. It'll give me something to do, you know? Something to think about. But you see, it started that first day of the job. I was clerking the liquor department of the supermarket. I hadn't been in Los Angeles for a week. So my brother, when I left New York, had given me this letter to a friend of his, the guy who owned the store in the supermarket. So this guy had it open.
Suspense, in which William Conrad and Kathy Lewis co-starred in William N. Robeson's production of Never Steal a Butcher's Wife, written by James Poe. Suspense. And the producer of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, the master of mystery and adventure, William N. Robeson.
The human mind is an organ of infinite complexity and of infinite potentiality. This delicate and mysterious organ, when it is healthy, can create beauty, work miracles, and envision God. But when it is shocked, disturbed, and unbalanced, its capacity for horror and evil is equally limitless. It is of such a mind our story is concerned. The mind of a woman who lets her imagination run away with terrifying results. Listen then as Miss Hilary Brooke stars in A Week Ago Wednesday, which begins in exactly 1 minute.
Let's figure out how to become President of the United States without being elected. Oh, it can be done, all right. See, all you have to do is have a special job in Congress or be a member of the cabinet. Now, naturally, you have to meet the other qualifications of age, birth, and residence. The law determining the order of presidential succession specifies that after the vice president comes the Speaker of the House, followed by the President pro tem of the Senate. And then, if for any reason these people are no longer available, the cabinet members are set up in line to take over the White House duties. The first one is the Secretary of State, followed by the Secretaries of the Treasury and Defense. Then come the Attorney General, the Postmaster General, and so on down the line through the Secretaries of Interior, Agriculture, Commerce, and Labor. Then, if that list is used up, the only thing is to have an election. But so far, the need has never gone beyond the vice presidency.
And now, A Week Ago Wednesday, starring Hilary Brooke. A tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
My husband and I had quarreled that Wednesday morning. I've tried to remember why, but I can't. Anyway, I wasn't in any hurry to get home after work that day, that Wednesday. So I sat for a while on a bench in Central Park. The sky had a dirty face, and the tall buildings around the park looked almost too white. I watched the evening happen quickly, because it was going to rain. It started to come down, doing my crying for me, and I started to run. I knew suddenly that I wanted to go home, and I wanted Harry to be there, so I could put my arms around him and tell him how much I loved him, and that I was sick because I hadn't kissed him goodbye that morning. I nearly fell running up the narrow stairway to the 3rd floor. Apartment 3B. I was nervous. My hand was clumsy, all thumbs, and the key wouldn't fit. It dropped to the floor. I stooped to pick it up, and as I did, the door opened. Harry. Oh, Harry.
Yes, what is it?
There was a stranger in our apartment. A small, dark woman with eyes like two shiny brown buttons and a pinched little face. She was wearing a flowered apron, and she was holding a soggy dish towel.
Well, Well, what do you want? I can't stand out here all night. I'm cooking supper.
There must be some mistake.
What apartment did you want?
3B.
Well, this is 3B.
But it can't be. You see, I live
Whoever you're looking for, I can't help you much. We only been living here a few days.
Living here?
Yes. What's the matter with you? Your clothes, they're soft and wet.
The rain. I got caught in the rain.
What are you talking about? It isn't raining.
It is raining. I ran all the way because there was thunder and lightning.
I don't know if you're drunk or crazy, maybe both. We had a thunderstorm last Wednesday, and it ain't rained again this past week.
Wednesday? A week ago? Oh, no,
You don't look so good. Come on, you better come in and sit down a minute. What is the matter with you?
I must have got a chill when I got caught in the rain. Only you say it hasn't rained for a week.
You sit right down here. I'll get some water. Now, don't move now. Supper not ready and company comes.
I sat on the sofa. Harry and I had talked just last night about having the spring in the middle cushion fixed. Or was it last night? I ran my hand over the top, cautiously afraid, and then stopped, as if I'd suddenly taken hold of a live wire. And my fingers curved over the lumpy roughness of a pillow with a broken spring.
Here, now, drink this.
Over the rim of the glass, she watched me. I sipped the water slowly as I looked around the room. There was a little table near the window where we could see the morning begin on Central Park while we had breakfast, and the buildings freckled with tiny lights in the evening while we had dinner. There was the rug with a worn spot in it, and the fireplace. But our wedding picture was missing from the mantel, and in its place was a cheap blue vase.
There, better? Feel better now?
Yes, thank you.
You don't look so good to me. You better call a doctor when you get home.
Home?
You want me to call a cab for you? Where do you live?
I don't know. Now.
You were looking for someone when you came. Friends of yours? What's their name? I'll see if I can find them for you.
Friends? Yes, friends of mine. Harry and Maud Haskin. Good friends.
Haskin? But don't you read the papers?
Yes.
But you must know.
Know what?
But about the murder, of course.
In a moment, we continue with the second act of Suspense.
Let's take just about a minute to talk about three little words which mean a great deal to people all over the world. Monarchy, oligarchy, and republic. The first of these, monarchy, means rule by a single person, such as a king or queen. The second, oligarchy, refers to a form of government in which the power is in the hands of a few, such as Russia's Kremlin. But to us, here in the United States, the most important of the three little words is the third, republic. A republic is a state in which the balance of power rests with the people as a whole and is exercised by representatives elected by the people and responsible to them. A republic is a free, popular government in which there are no classes having any exclusive political privileges and in which the voters are guided by constitutional authority. The importance of a republic is recognized by the Constitution, which in Article 4 says that the United States shall guarantee to every state in this union a republican form of government and shall protect each of them against invasion and domestic violence. That's how your American Constitution works.
And now, starring Hilary Brooke, Act 2 of A Week Ago Wednesday.
We moved in a couple of days after the murder. My husband didn't like the idea. But an apartment's an apartment these days. And I said to him, Charlie, it's a vacancy, so what if there was a murder?
Murder? Tell me about it.
Where have you been for a week?
I'm not so sure myself.
He looked like such a nice young man, too. At least in his pictures.
Who are you talking about?
Harry Haskin, of course.
Harry?
Yes, it happened right in that kitchen. The murder weapon was an ice pick.
Ice pick?
Isn't it awful? And everybody says they seem so much in love. Well, you never can tell about those things. She's so young. They say pretty, too.
Do they?
Do you know him well?
Yes, very well.
Oh, I sure am sorry it had to be me to break the news to you if they was friends of yours.
You said it's in the paper. Can I see it?
Sure. The paper's been full of nothing else for almost a week.
She was right. The headline screamed out at me. Ice Pick murder awaits conviction. And there was a picture of Harry. Harry, my husband. I tried to read more, but I couldn't. I kept hearing his voice.
Don't you know I'd do anything in the world for you, darling? Don't you know I love you? Love you.
I don't remember leaving, running down those stairs and out the door. I just remember finding myself on the street again, half walking, half running. And then I was back in Central Park again. And out of nowhere, a little boy on a scooter came tearing round the bend. He turned sharply to keep from running into me. I watched him lose his balance. Toppled over and fell in a pathetic little heap on the ground. His knee was bleeding. And I ran over to pick him up. I bent over him, my arms outstretched to lift him to his feet again. And then I realized I was dead. I'd been murdered by my husband almost a week ago. I was dead. And I knew I dared not touch this child. I was afraid for him. And so I ran again. And I ran faster and faster till I couldn't hear him anymore. And then it was later somehow and really dark. And I was tired. So very tired. I found myself back on that bench again. The same bench I'd been sitting on earlier that evening. No one was around. I stretched out and tried to sleep. And I suppose I must have. For the next thing I knew, it was morning. I sat up stiffly and smoothed out the wrinkles in my skirt. I wondered where I was going to go and what I was going to do. I tried not to think of Harry. Where he was now.
Maud? Oh, Maud, darling.
Harry!
Oh, golly, baby, I've been worried sick about you all night.
Oh, Harry.
Oh, my darling, I'm sorry about yesterday. Come on, let's go home now.
Home?
Look at your clothes. They're still damp from the rain last night. If you get sick, I'll never forgive myself. How do you feel? Are you all right?
Yes, I'm all right.
Good. Come on, then.
His big hand supported my arm. And as we left the park from the entrance on 72nd Street, a little boy on a scooter came tearing round the bend.
In just a moment, we continue with the third act of Suspense.
How would you like to be a successful farmer? Naturally, all of us would like to be successful in anything, particularly in our chosen field. But say you are a successful farmer, and you have one or two successful neighbors. However, there are other neighboring farmers who, for one reason or another, are not successful. Farmer Adams was hit by a flash flood coming out of the hills. And Brown and Fisher, though they're hard workers, just don't have the knowledge to make a farm pay off. What would you and your successful neighbors do? Would you sit back and allow the other farms to go under, no matter what hardship it might cause to the families? Would you say, let them fail, we'll buy them out when they're broke? Perhaps one of your neighbors might say that, but would you? Or would you go over and help Adams rebuild his farm? And would you go over to Brown and Fisher and say, look, neighbor, you're not planting the right thing here. It's not right for your soil. Let me show you what you can plant. Of course, unless you were greedy, that's what you would do. Throughout the world, that is what the Food and Agriculture Organization is doing. It is an agency of the United Nations, which is man's best hope for the world's welfare, peace, and justice.
And now, starring Hillary Brooke, Act 3 of A Week Ago Wednesday.
The apartment was just the way it should be. The worn spot on the rug, the crack in the base of the lamp, the wedding picture on the mantel. And the woman with eyes like two shiny brown buttons was gone. There was just Harry and me.
Are you hungry?
I am a little. Harry.
What?
It was raining last night, wasn't it, Harry?
Raining? I'll say it was. What a storm.
It was raining. It was raining hard. Oh,
no,
Harry.
No, sweet, don't. Please, no, don't. You're home now.
Oh.
Shh, don't cry. This is Harry. This is your home. No, please don't.
We ate breakfast near the window so we could watch morning begin over Central Park, just like other mornings. He smiled at me, and I tried to smile back. He leaned across the table, his eyes steady, serious, watching me. Why was he being so kind? Why should he be so good to me? What were the thoughts behind those eyes? Watching me, watching. Was he already planning how he would murder me?
I love you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. It dropped.
Oh, don't worry about it. Just a cup.
I'll get a broom. I'll sweep it up.
No, don't bother about it now. You just come here to me.
No.
What?
I mean, I'd better sweep it up. I went into the kitchen, glad to be alone for a minute, safe for a minute. I knew with a dull, sick realization that I was afraid of my husband, afraid of Harry.
Do you want me to do it for you?
No, I can do it. I'll sweep it up.
No. Maud, don't go into work today. Stay home and rest. You don't look well.
I'm all right. I want to go into work.
All right. You're sure? Anything you want.
He was being good to me again. Too good to me. Anything I wanted. Anything. Why? I didn't trust him. He was too kind. His lips said sweet things, but what was on his mind?
I love you.
Do you?
Well, don't you know I do?
Yes, of course I do. I don't remember what happened in the office that moment. I could only think of one thing. One thought kept repeating itself. I'm afraid of Harry. I'm afraid. My husband is going to kill me. I know because I dreamed it last night. It was a warning. My husband is going to kill me. This was ridiculous. I'd fallen asleep on a park bench and had a dream, that was all. Just a nightmare. Nothing more sinister than that. I was Maud Haskell, and I was married to Harry, who loved me. I was just another girl who'd had a bad dream. The afternoon dragged all too slowly. I knew Harry had been concerned when he left me that morning. I wanted to tell him I was all right. I was all right now. I'd let a silly dream play tricks with me. I'd behaved like a fool. Afraid of Harry. I almost laughed out loud, but I felt more like crying. And at last the day was over, and I was on my way home to the man I loved. And this time I knew I wasn't dreaming. This time I could run fast, all the way from the subway to 69th Street, and home. Harry would be there. I climbed one flight, two flights, out of breath and hurrying. One more.
Excuse me, miss. Do you know where I can find the landlady?
It was that woman. A small, dark woman with eyes like two shiny brown buttons.
I said, do you know where I can find the landlady?
What? What did you say?
You live here?
Yes.
Well, tell me then. Do you happen to know if there are any vacancies?
Vacancies? No.
Hey, where are you going?
Hey! She was the woman in my dream. She was the woman who'd been living in our apartment. What was she doing here? Maybe it'd been more than a dream. Maybe I was thrown ahead into 7 tomorrows, to next Wednesday. Maybe by then she'd have our apartment, just like in my dream. And I'd be dead.
Darling, that you?
Yes, Harry.
Got a kiss for me? That a girl. You're home early.
I hurried.
Did you? So did I. I missed you. I've got a surprise.
What kind of surprise?
We are going to celebrate, you and me. We're going to have a private party, a reunion. Now, you just wait here. I'll only be a minute.
I kept thinking, not a dream. Not just a dream, but a warning. A warning. Oh, but that was silly. It couldn't be. I heard the sound of, and I began to shake all over. I walked into the kitchen, and Harry was bent over a small bowl. I could see his muscle under his shirt move up and down. His arm rose and fell again and again. And in his hand, he held an ice pick. Oh!
Maud, what is it? What's the matter?
Nothing. What are you doing?
Icing the champagne, darling. We're going to celebrate. I wish you hadn't come in, though. You spoiled the surprise.
I'm sorry.
Oh, doesn't matter. Nothing matters as long as you're here.
He put the ice pick beside the bowl and took me in his arms. And while he kept telling me he loved me, I was looking at the ice pick, thin and sharp. The ice pick. Spoiler's surprise. Yes, I'd spoil it. He thought he was going to kill me. But I wasn't going to let him. I wasn't going to let him.
Oh, darling, how I love you. I love you.
I'd smother the lying words in the soap before he could say them again. I'd been warned, and I wasn't going to let him do it. I reached out and felt my fingers creep around the handle of the ice pick. I was strong and safe now. The dream wasn't going to come true. I'd make sure. I held it tightly, raised it behind his back, poised like a serpent, ready to strike. Ready? Ready.
Oh, darling, I love you.
His arms still around me grew limp.
Maud.
I felt them slide heavily, big hands dragging at my body.
Maud.
His fingers clutched at my belt and tore it from me. And then he fell, still holding it in his hand. He lay still at my feet, a red circle of blood on his white shirt. And in that circle, the ice pick. No one saw me leave the house. All I could think of was, not me. It wasn't me lying dead with an ice pick in my back. I'd been cleverer than he. I had done it first. I stumbled into the park and wandered aimlessly. Every once in a while I'd hear his voice. And I put my hands over my ears to blot it out, but it was no use. It kept coming back.
Nothing matters as long as you are here.
I ran to get away from it, but the voice followed
Got
me.
a kiss for me? That a girl. I missed you.
I dropped from exhaustion somewhere in the park and slept all night on the grass. In the morning I remembered, but I was too sick to care. I was sorry I woke up. I didn't ever want to wake up. But I started to walk again. I kept on walking until I couldn't go anymore. There was a bench. I sat down. Someone had been there before and left a newspaper. I picked it up and read it. And then I knew. As big and bold as life or death that mocked me. The words ice pick murder jumped crazily on the page, and Harry's picture, just as it had been in my dream. Only this time I read on. Harry Haskin dead. Murdered. Police searching for wife Maud Haskin. And then I realized. Harry never planned to kill me. Harry loved me. I had tried to run away from a dream. Just a dream. And instead I made it live. And now Harry was dead. I wanted to tell you how it was, Father. Pray for me. The dream has come true. It's Wednesday again, isn't it, Father? I've confessed. I don't care what happens now because I must pay for what I've done. Will you pray for me, Father? A week ago Wednesday. I wonder if she's there. The woman with eyes like two shiny brown buttons, reading about me in the paper. I wonder if she's in the apartment now, reading about my execution.
Suspense, in which Hilary Brooks starred in William N. Robeson's production of A Week Ago Wednesday by Winifred Wolfe. Supporting Miss Brooke in A Week Ago Wednesday were D.J. Thompson, John Daner, and Dick Beals. Listen again next week when we return with another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense. Now, The Island, starring John Lund. A tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
This Corporal Lacey was okay, a good Marine. But the way I looked at it, he'd been hopping too many islands. Battle fatigue can get the best of him. Anyway, here I was somewhere on Okinawa with him, in the middle of the night, and I just as lief be anywhere else. Okay, the boy. The footprints is deep enough. I guess we're safe for a while. Where are we, anyhow? A couple of miles behind the Jap line. As safe as that. You worry too much, pal, even for a guy on his first patrol. I've been thinking of it as my last. Relax like me and What's that? Nothing. It's just a screaming meaning. Got some kind of tail adjustment that cuts the wind and sort of screams. The limp gives it to scare us. They sure succeeded. You scare easy, pal. Sure. I'm a official for that record card stuff. Record card? What kind of jive is that? It means terror. Frightfulness. The Germans got a whole arsenal of terror weapons. The Jeffs got a few themselves. You take the first watch. I'm second in. Maybe. Or maybe I'll just sit here and dream a while. You're sure picking a fine time for it. Did I ever tell you about my island? Yeah, you told me. What is this island? You must have told me 50, 60 times already. So I'll tell you again. This island is sort of special place. No rain, no jungle rot, no war. There's no such place. On this island, a man would never go hungry. All you gotta do is fish a little with the natives. They're all big men and friendly. Not like the Nets. All the dames are beautiful. You read too many comic books. That's where I'm fixing to go. As soon as I find it. Never going back stateside. I'm going to lay down under that little old banyan tree. I'll rest a while. Let him lay down. What else could I do? Argue with him? Live off the... There I was, a couple of miles behind the enemy lines with a stranger. Somewhere out there. His eyes narrowed in a 1,000-yard stare. His rush of words like a nervous twitch. He raved on about a place that don't exist. Big men. Beautiful women. Island. Real pretty. Different. Like nothing you ever saw. All surrounded by mist. And then I found myself listening. Sort of hypnotized. I knew I was listening to battle fatigue. Like I said, the corporal had hopped too many islands. He'd seen too much death. Too many crack-ups. He was half cracked and slightly dead himself. So what could I do? Argue with him? Pineapple. Bat the breeze with the people. And I'll find me a beautiful girl and we'll... Tabori. Yeah, I'm listening. Look, Tabori. Out there. Coming toward us. Over there. A bunch of them. Well, not a bunch, 4. 3 men and a woman. They're heading right for us. Put down that rifle. Come on, you flip or something? They're not Japs. The men are too big. And the woman... See, she's beautiful in the moonlight. Japs, no Japs. I ain't taking no chances. Knock it off, you jerk. You hit the dame. Lacey, where you going? Gonna see if she's hurt. Come on. Don't go, Lacey. You know the Japs. There might be a trick. Don't worry about me. Let go of my arm. You'll get yourself killed. Not me, Tabori. I'll live to spit on your grave. Now, let go. Okay. I hope you know what you're doing. Must be around here somewhere. Listen. Came from over there. Come on. Here she is.
Go away. You go away.
Break out your first aid kit, Tabori. Here. Look, lady. Let me fix your arm, huh? Look, see, bandages, adhesive tape, penicillin. You don't get what you're talking about. She gets the idea. Yeah, that's right, lady. Now, this won't hurt a bit. Yeah. You just got nicked a little in the arm. It's just a flesh wound. She trusts you. Yeah, she trusts me more than you do. Didn't I tell you she was beautiful? You told me a lot of things. How about the men she was with, the big men? They weren't Japs, not Japs. In a pig's eye, they weren't Japs.
No, I do not know.
Yeah, you see? Then what were they?
They're my people.
Who are you? What's your name?
Ducky. Oh, please follow me. I want to go home.
So go home. Scram. Lose yourself. Oh, no, you don't. Let her alone, Lacey. You keep out of this. Let her go. Let her go back to her rice paddy. You still don't catch Tabori. She ain't from Okinawa. She's from that island. That island I was telling you about.
I'm sorry, Yagaki. Yagaki Shima.
Shima, see? Shima means island.
Yes, island.
So what are you doing here?
I'm not in there. Japanese doing us in canoe.
Crazier than you are. Whoever... Shut up. Taki. Where is your island? Where is Yagaki Shima?
In the sea. In the China Sea. Half a day from Okinawa by canoe.
Canoe? What's it like, Taki? What's your island like? Never mind the island. Let's find a canoe. Once you see Lacey with the canoe, we can get back to our lines by water. Taki, Can you find the canoe?
Yes, I think I can.
Let's go. She led us through the wood toward the beach. The moonlight had delicate faces like ancient ivory. Her hair was long and black and drawn tight over her head. She was straight and slim. She walked with dignity. She was beautiful. Beautiful as a dream. Lacey's dream. For a moment, she had me dreaming, too. But only for a moment. Then we were on the beach, and there was a canoe. And leaning against the prow, a Jap sentry. You never know what hit him. Hurry up, Doc. Get in the canoe. Push off, Samori. You take the bow. Where to? Straight out to sea, due east. You know what I think? I think we're going to make it. Okay, Sabori. We're going to take it easy now. I'm not taking it easy till we cross our perimeter. How are you going to tell at night? Maybe you think they got neon signs? What are you going to do then? We're going to stand by till morning. I don't know. I think it'd be better to... However you think you're outvoted. You're outvoted 2 strikes to 1. You put in rank, Corporal? Why not, Knucklehead? The skipper's got 1 skipper and I'm it. Yeah, you. If I want any stuff out of you, I'll knock it out of you. I'm warning you. Don't foul up this detail. So what was I going to do? Argue with him? Start a private firefight in the middle of the China Sea? I was getting a little combat weary myself. Lacey, he was all charged up, as though his crazy dream had come true. Lying on the narrow deck of the canoe, I could hear him droning on about the island. It's not like other islands, is it, Jackie?
No, you can live in it. I wish I could tell you how.
It's pretty, huh?
This is very pretty, but...
Is the fishing good?
Oh, very good fishing.
I knew it would be like that. I knew it. And that's the last thing I remembered. I guess I fell asleep. And then Sunday was daylight and... Sabori! Look! Sabori! Huh? What? Look over there. What do you see? An island. Just an island? Not just an island. My island. How do you know? Look. Surrounded by mist. Just like I said. Tell it to the Marines when we get back to Okinawa. Stand by the ram, Sabori. We ain't going back to Okinawa. Now, wait a minute. I don't want no more trouble from you, Sabori. And don't make any up. Wait. You looking for your rifle? Don't bother. Because I got it right here. Now, get your rump forward. Just crazy. Move, Sabori. You're flirting with a Purple Heart. Now, lean on that paddle. That's right. We're heading for Yagati. Our canoe scraped the coral beach of Yagati about 4 hours later. Lacey was right. It was a lovely island. Well, here we are. Seeing's believing, huh, Sabori? Funny. So close to Okinawa, and this place looks like I've never heard a shot fired in anger. Where are your people, Jackie?
They're way over here. Well, you must not go. You go back now.
Oh, no. I'm sticking around. How about you, Sabori? I came this far, I'll sweat it out just for laughs. You're going to laugh out of the wrong side of your face.
Oh, you not too loud.
Just a figure of speech, Jackie. Let's go. The trail snaked upward. Pine trees and casuarinas rattled in the sweet, strong winds from the China Sea. In the fields were raspberry bushes. There were lilies in the short grass and scarlet flowers. But I was looking for people. The big men of Lacey's dreams. The girls all as lovely as the girl walking beside us. I was tense with expectancy at each bend in the trail. But Lacey's senses had vanished. He had lost them because he had found Taki.
Robert Lacey.
No, Taki. My name is Lacey. I'll try it again. Lacey. L like in. Well, this is a lily. You are a lady. And you're loco. Sabori, I'm going to cold cock you.
This is so funny. You throw you, Marcus. The first time I saw
I've been dreaming about you for so long. I always knew I'd find you.
I never forget what you say.
I'll never let you forget.
Oh, Alicia.
No. Lacey. L. Like in love. They walked on together. The tall Marine and the slim girl with the ivory skin. Now and then she'd look up at Lacey and a pained expression clouded her face. At first she was afraid of believing. But I did. Loneliness, the weariness of war, the refuge in a dream. Very soon now that dream would burst like a bubble and become reality. I had to find out. It was a tough, hard climb, but finally we reached the summit. And down below it in a little valley was the village of Pocky Steeple. And floating up to it was a strange, sad town. Maybe it's what you call a ceremony or something.
Yes, it is.
Maybe it's for us. I bet they know we're coming.
No. It's just sort of big.
What happened, you suppose? The war?
The war not here. It's just more people die.
Well, everybody's people die. It's gotta happen sooner or later.
Yes. Sooner or later.
Like I always say, here today, gone tomorrow. I never heard it so well put. The boy dropped dead, had dry up. Let's go, Tacky. As we went down the mountainside, the singing stopped. When we got to the village, it was deserted. Tacky stopped us at the edge of the clearing.
If you were to see him, I'll come back soon with Father. This isn't his good.
You going to stay here on the island with me, Tabori? No, Lacey, I just want one good look at your big men and beautiful women in their native habitat. Then I'm shoving off Okinawa. Still skeptical, huh? Yeah. Something screwy about this place. I'm not sure what it is, but I got to find out, or it'll drive me crazy the rest of my life. You mean crazy like me? I didn't say that. Since we left Okinawa, you've been giving me a bad time. It was mutual, and now you call me crazy. I know what I said. I know what you think. I know what you'll do once you get back to Okinawa. You'll tell the MPs I went over the hill. You'll tell them where I am. And they'll come after me. You are crazy. I'm just crazy enough to make sure that you keep your trap shut. Remember, Tabori? I said I'd be around to spit on your grave. Lacey, stop kidding around with that rifle. I ain't kidding. I'm going to kill you, Tabori. But first you're going to see I was right. I want to see the expression on that smart aleck face of yours when you admit it. And then I'm going to kill you. Here they come. Get over there by that tree and keep your mouth shut.
He's Father Hoffman, is he?
You the head man? I suppose you could call me that. Well, you're not an Oriental. No, Austrian. But what can I do for you? I want to stay here with Tacky. I'm afraid you can't. I'll work my way. That's not the point. I don't want no argument. You cannot stay. Why not? He's a leper. But she's so beautiful. I know, my son. But in 3 years, in 5 years. Oh, Tacky. Tacky.
I tried to tell you at first, but I didn't know how. And then I could not, even if I want to. I wanted to last another hour, another minute. Goodbye, Lucy. I never forget you.
I won't forget you either. It was like a dream come true. For a while it was.
Goodbye, Lucy.
Padre, what's this all about? Quite simple. Horrible and simple. 2 nights ago, the Japanese came to the leper colony, They took more than half my patients to Okinawa and head of them to American line.
But why?
To disrupt your advance. There was no chance of contagion, but, well, my patients aren't all as beautiful as Starkey.
I see. Schrecklich sight.
Exactly. A weapon of terror. The boy?
Yeah, Lacey?
I guess we'd better move out. You ready, pal?
Yeah. Long road back to Okinawa.
Yeah, for me, the road back is longer than that.
Suspense, in which John Lund starred in William N. Robeson's production of The Island by Millard Kaufman. In a moment, the names of tonight's supporting Mr. Lund in The Island were Lillian Bayef, Joe DeSantis, and Hans Conried. Listen. Listen again next week when we return with The Crowded Void by Michael Frost. Another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
America listens most to the CBS Radio Network.
Now, The Crowded Void, starring Bartlett Robinson. A tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Your attention, please. Pacific Central Airways announced the immediate departure of southbound Flight 17 for Los Angeles, now loading at gate number 2.
I stood on the ramp at San Francisco Airport and watched my passengers spring out to the plane. And the telegram in my jacket pocket felt like a sheet of lead. Usually it made me proud to think that these strangers would trust their lives to me in the blackness overhead. Tonight, I was scared.
Hey, Sam.
Yeah, Mel.
I've got our Los Angeles weather.
Oh, how is it? Not much better than it is here. Fog and drizzle, 500-foot ceiling, lowering, half-a-mile visibility, extreme turbulence. Anything else?
Yeah, they got planes stacked up to 5,000 feet over L.A. International waiting to land.
Oh, brother.
Dispatcher wants to know if you're going to cancel.
Well, I'd sure hate to.
I know. You heard anything more?
No, not since the telegram. I should never have taken this flight.
Oh, look, Sam, you didn't know when you left L.A. that she was...
I shouldn't have left her.
And there's no use beating yourself for it now?
Yes, and there's no use bouncing around over L.A. with a plane full of passengers. Well, we'll cancel for a while and wait it out here until the traffic thins out
Captain
down
Bradley of Pacific
You
Central
have
Airlines.
tell the passengers.
Captain Bradley of Pacific Central
Hey, that's me.
Airlines. You have a long-distance call at the dispatcher's desk. A long-distance call at the
Yes,
dispatcher's
I'm
desk
coming.
for Captain Bradley. Your Northern Airlines passenger R.C. Eckler, please report...
Here you are, Captain. It's Los Angeles. Thanks. Hello?
Sam, this is Dr. Mallard.
Yes, Doctor.
You get my wire?
Yes.
When are you getting in, son?
Well, I don't know. We're canceling the flight. The weather's all socked in down there, Doctor.
Oh.
So what's wrong?
Well, she's in labor. I'm with her now.
Is she all right?
Well, I don't like it. Not after the last one.
Well, Doctor, she'll pull through, won't she?
She's afraid she won't.
What?
She's afraid she'll die, Sam, without seeing you. Now, you get down there, son, just as soon as you can.
Yes. Can I talk to her?
Well, all right.
Sam.
Oh, Jeannie, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have left.
It's all right, darling. Guess the storm caught a tailwind. Sam, I'm scared. I'm so scared.
Jeannie.
What if I never see you again? Oh, darling, get here quick. Please, get here.
I'll be there. You hang on. I'll be there. Dispatcher?
Yes, sir?
Flight 17 will go out on schedule.
This is the last call for Pacific Central Airlines flight number 17 for Los Angeles. All aboard, please.
Hi, Sam. Is we is or is we ain't?
We'll go, Sally. Where's Mel?
In the cockpit. Sam, would you stop and talk to the woman in seat 11 with the baby?
Oh. All right. Why, first flight?
Yes, she's terrified. Her name's Gordon.
Okay. Oh, pardon me, sir. Excuse me, may I get through, please? Well, Mrs. Gordon?
Yes?
Well, what's this little character's name? Hi there, Butch.
The little girl captain. Her name's Nita.
Yes, she sure is cute. Hey, Nita.
She likes you, Captain. Do you have children?
No, not yet. My wife's expecting now.
Oh?
She lost the first one. Look at that yawn.
She's not about to let an airplane ride interfere with her sleep. Captain, are we going in this park?
Why, sure, it's perfectly okay. Well, good night, Nita. You sleep tight. Oh, Mrs. Gordon.
Yes?
Don't worry.
All right, Captain. Thank you.
You bet. Sally.
Yes, sir.
Come on forward, please. You're right. That woman's scared to death. Keep an eye on her. It's going to be rough over L.A.
All right, Sam.
And you'd better get dinner cleared away by the time we make Paso Robles.
I'll start serving as soon as we're aloft.
Sam, the dispatcher's on with the 9 o'clock weather. Oh, hand me my headset, huh? Right.
Baker's Field report ceiling 500, 1 mile visibility. Los Angeles weather. Los Angeles International, now 300 feet, 1/4 mile visibility, light drizzle. Situation deteriorating, extreme turbulence. This is Pacific Central.
Not so good, Sam. You going to cancel? Nope. Let's crank them up. Oh, whatever you say. Number 3, prop clear. Turning number 3. H blades, switch and boost on. Bring in mixture on number 3. Right. Number 4 clear. Clear. Turning number 4.
Pacific Central 462. This is your dispatcher.
This is Pacific Central 462. Go ahead.
462. San Francisco Center advises possible delay over Los Angeles due to weather and extremely heavy airway traffic. Do you wish to cancel?
Can you catch that? Tell him negative. We're going. Negative. 462 departing on schedule. Out.
And now, starring Bartlett Robinson, Act 2 of The Crowded Boy.
Awful rough out there. You getting tired, Sam? No, I'm okay. Hey, what's the matter? I forgot to make our Santa Barbara position report. Now, relax, boss. I made it. Oh. I don't know what's wrong with me tonight. I do. Jeannie will be okay, Sam. I hope so, man. I have us at Malibu intersection in 30 seconds. We're 4 minutes late. Okay. Call Los Angeles Approach Control. Roger. Los Angeles Approach Control. This is Pacific Central 462. Over.
This is Los Angeles Approach Control. Go ahead.
This is 462. Over Malibu intersection at 2255. 8,000 feet. Instrument flight plan to Los Angeles International. Estimate Los Angeles at 2302. You have an approach clearance for us? Over.
Negative. Hold on the Los Angeles range. Maintain 8,000 feet until further instructions. Out.
Oh, no. Ask him how long we'll have to wait. Okay, then. Approach control, this is Pacific Central 462. You give me an estimate on how long we'll have to hold. Over.
462, at least 20 minutes delay. Request you hold your radio transmission to a minimum. There are 5 other commercial airliners and a flight of Air Force jets stacked below you. Out.
I guess he told us 20 minutes. I'm sorry, Sam. Yeah. Well, at least we're in line. Ooh. Rough, sir. That's rough. Better put on the seatbelt light, Mel. Been on for 5 minutes. What? Oh, thanks.
Sam, how long until we land?
About 20 minutes more. Why, have you got a date?
Oh, Sam.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sally. What's the trouble?
It's Mrs. Gordon.
Mrs. Gordon?
The woman with the baby. She wants to speak to you. She knows we're late and the rough air doesn't help, and now the baby senses it and it's howling its head off. The others are getting nervous, too, and I just can't handle it.
Well, take it easy, Sally. Mel, go on back. Yes, sir.
No, Sam. She wants to talk to the captain.
She wants me to leave the cockpit now? Don't be silly.
Please, Sam, please.
Go on back, Sam. I can handle it. I know you can, but... Okay, Mel. But hold our assigned altitude. You wait here, Sally, until you get hold of yourself. Well, here, what's this? Now, what's the matter, Nita?
What do you suppose is the matter? She's scared to death.
Now, Mrs. Gordon, why don't you let the stewardess take her and give her some more milk?
No. If we're going to crash, I want her with me.
Mrs. Gordon, nobody's going to crash.
How do you know? You don't even know where we are. We're lost, that's what.
Mrs. Gordon, if we were lost, you think I'd be back here with you?
Well, Oh, Captain, I'm sorry. But when you talked to me before, you seemed worried yourself, and I got thinking about it.
Well, you thought I was bothered about the weather?
Yes.
Well, it wasn't that. I'll tell you why I looked worried. My wife is in the hospital having a baby right this minute. The doctor called me just before we took off.
How awful. And you're flying anyway?
Well, she's in Los Angeles.
In Los Angeles?
Yes.
And that's why we came?
What do you mean?
That's why we came, isn't it, Captain? You wouldn't have tried it otherwise, would you?
Mrs. Gordon, this is the scheduled flight. My wife's condition has nothing to do with it.
It does, too. You're afraid for her, and you brought us with you, and now we're all going to be killed. You have no right to do this.
I can take care of it. I'll try to get it as you said it.
Well, you'd better, Sally. I don't know how much more I can take tonight.
Oh, Sam. Nell wants you in the cockpit. Something's gone wrong down below.
Yeah, Mel, what's wrong? Put on your headset. We got trouble, huh?
Air Force Jet 439. Any Air Force jet at the flight at 7,000 holding on Los Angeles radio. Do you read me? Over.
He's been trying to contact a flight of F-100 for 5 minutes. At 7,000? We're still holding 8? Yes, sir. Listen.
Attention all aircraft holding on Los Angeles range. We've lost contact with a flight of 3 F-100 jets holding at 7,000 on Los Angeles radio. All aircraft above 7,000 maintain present altitude until further advised.
Oh, Mel, we've had it. They can't get them out of there until we contact them. They'll never clear us through a flight of jets. Clear us through them? I hope to tell you they won't. If they do, I get out and walk. Ask approach control for the estimated delay. Sam, how is he going to know until he contacts the jet? Ask him. You're the boss. Los Angeles approach control. This is Pacific Central 462. Do you have an estimated approach time for us? Over.
This is approach control. Negative. The delay is indefinite. Repeat. The delay is indefinite.
Indefinite. It couldn't be indefinite. Give me a time. Something to wait for. Don't just say indefinite. Suppose I let down anyway. The big sky. They're fast and I'm slow, but it's a big sky. What are the odds? What are Jeannie's odds?
Oh, darling, get here. Please get here quick. Please get here.
I'll be there, Jeannie. You just hang on. I'll be there. Sam! Hey, Sam, what's wrong? I got the control. No, Sam, let me. Will you? Tell him I'm letting down. You what? Get your hands off. Tell him. Approach control, this is 462. Sam, we can't. Tell him. This is 462. We're commencing descent from 8,000. Out.
Say again. 462. Maintain maintain your altitude. Do not descend. There is jet traffic at 7,000. Do you read me?
Start the landing takeoff lift. We can't do it, Sam. Those jets will slobber. Takeoff lift. Mixtures full width. Mixtures full width. Carburetor air direct. Carburetor air direct. Throttle coming back. Throttle coming back. Don't do it.
And now, starring Bartlett Robinson, Act 3 of The Crowded Void.
Airborne Jet 439. Any Air Force jet at 7,000.
What's our altitude?
There may be traffic
7,500 feet.
Clear the pattern.
Sam, you just can't do it. Dropping into a flight of F-100s and this monster to run us down and cut me. Just reading my altitude.
462. What is your altitude? Are you descending?
Don't answer him. And keep your eyes open, Mel. Keep my eyes open. I can't even see our wing tip. Sam, for the last time, you're at 7,300 feet. 300 feet more and we'll be in them. Close my cowl flap.
Yeah, we landing?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful.
Altitude, Mel. 7,200, oh, brother.
Sam, I tried the sedative on that woman. It worked. Mrs. Gordon, the baby, the other passengers, they're all as calm as clams now.
What? What did you say?
Mrs. Gordon and the baby and the other passengers are just as calm.
7,100. Mrs. Gordon, the baby, the passengers. Mrs. Gordon's baby, the passengers. 47 human beings. 49 counting Mel and Sally. They're depending on me. And I'm gambling their lives. Down there somewhere beneath those lost, screaming jets, one human being depending on me. The odds? They're too great. Mel! Yeah, Sam, give me climbing power, quick! Bring in climbing power. Let's get up out of here. Oh, let's get up out of here. Altitude 7150. Climb. Oh! You hear that, Sam? Yes, I heard. Jeannie, darling, hang on for a little while longer. Hang on, Jeannie. I'll get there as soon as I can.
Central Airlines announced the arrival of flight number 17 from San Francisco.
You taxied up to the ramp, Mel. I've had it. Just follow that last jet. Okay, Skipper.
Pacific Central 462. This is Los Angeles Tower. Is your captain's name Bradley? Sam Bradley?
Uh-oh. There goes your license, Sam. Mine, too, probably. No, not yours. Just answer it. Affirmative.
I have a man waiting at your spot with a message. Don't miss it.
Message? It's Jeannie. I know it. I'm going back. You shut her down, Mel. Oh, pardon me, sir. Please, ma'am, will you excuse me? Move, will you, please?
It was a nice landing, Captain.
I'm sorry. Let me through, please. Hey, you from approach control? Yes, Captain Bradley. Yes. Captain, I'm sorry I blew my top at you on the radio. Everybody's jittery tonight. We thought you said you were letting down. There's a message. They said you had a message. Oh, yeah, the hospital call. Yes. You got a little boy. 7 pounds, 3 ounces. What about my wife? Well, now, take it easy, Captain. Take it easy. She's all right. She's all right. Are you positive? Well, that's what the man said. She's all right. Sally, she's all right. Oh, Mrs. Gordon. She had a little boy, and she's all right.
Oh, I'm so glad. You were frantic about it, weren't you?
Oh, I guess so.
And I had to be so silly. I'm sorry, really, I am.
No, Mrs. Gordon, you were all right.
No, I wasn't. But I'm glad we came.
Yes, Mrs. Gordon. I'm glad you came, too.